goes over their heads, we super cosmic. Your logic is ignorance mixed with fear in your thinking. My pineal gland is flooding, son, that shit don't be blinking. Sinking into your subconscious like a song with no words. The way I come up with these symbols of letters is absurd. Hey yo, my rhymes are like angelic beings. That shit is freeing, so pure that if you were born blind, I'll have you seeing. Breathing in a multi-dimensional light so captivating. Double helix is nonsense, so what I'm activating, feel the power from within, seeping right through my skin, from the earth into my feet as it goes up to my chin. It got me grinning, rotation like spirals, my music spinning. I told you that I don't be playing, still I'm always winning. Fibonacci to the haters, curve them right to the side. They don't understand the energy, it comes from inside. So inside is what I master, used to be a disaster. Now I'm gladly elevating to a whole new chapter. Yeah, I'm giving birth to a whole new style. I incarnated through New York, yeah, I rep Long Island. Don't get it twisted though, I'm truly repping this earth. I came to free all these humans and show you all what you're worth. Immortal. Yeah, raising your frequencies one soul at a time. As I pass this mic to my boy Spectrum, yo Spectrum, light that up, kid.
They tried to tell me I'm mortal, I told them I was immortal. They asked me what makes me different, I asked them what makes you normal. I just followed my morals and I unfollowed the formal. Hopped on a track with crews, now we straight cruising through portals. I download the Metatron, I'm reversing it till I'm dead and gone. If you think I'm dope, well you said it wrong. Not trying to flex, but I'm hella strong. Mine did things you never seen. When I say mine, you know what I mean. I'm the most when I'm in my mode, and y'all average is like the mean. I really didn't mean to go intervene. I'm the middleman, chilling in between. You should do the math, we ain't keeping score. But I just hit a 3.14. I cook it up, make it look easy as pie. I'm moving in silence and seeing the sign. I am the G, if you remove me, all you gon' see is your sins. This is a big game of sins, the simulation is breaking again. I'm taking control, creating my soul, and if the truth fits, I'm breaking it in. Breaking it. All I really know is that I'll never know. I've been here for forever, don't know when to go. I think that indicates that I'm an indigo. In that case, I'm in the go. Green light, my heart, chakra booming. Solar plexus, Lexus zooming. You assuming that I'm human. I'm just being what you doing. I've been teaching teachers frequently. It's apparent I'm a parent when it comes to raising frequencies. The way I'm living life, I haven't rest in peace recently. Immortal with my technique, but my ego dying easily. Death is teasing me by leaving me with DMT. Now it seems to me that everything I see is seeing me. Life is just an infinite circle with a twist. I used to wanna be like them, now they do not exist.
Immortal.
Peace and grand dawning, everyone. Welcome to the Amplify Your Purpose While Living in the New Time. So just want to take a moment out to say, peace, y'all. How y'all doing out there? I do like to do a quick sound check. If you can hear me clearly, if you're out there, let me know, chime in and just say that I am coming through clearly with my audio. I always like to do a quick sound check before we get rolling, but definitely while I'm waiting to hear back from someone in the chat. Grand dawning, everyone. Today's going to be an amazing session. We have some treats available. So this session is going to be all about the integrity of supreme receptivity. And we have Alcyone Frederick. She will be joining Neb Taharka today while she does the heliophysics and solar report. So definitely looking forward to that. All right. Appreciate you, Ken 34. We appreciate you for being on this session. And everyone, give a huge shout out and a happy galactic return to Brother Ivory, Ken 34. So you are here. We are celebrating your Ken. We are celebrating you on this plasma. Ashe. So let's go ahead and start the session and get into it. So I am the facilitator, just getting things started for this wonderful session. My name is Eshe Naira. I am Ken 211, the Blue Electric Monkey, and I activate in order to play. Bonding illusion. I seal the process of magic with the electric tone of service, and I am guided by my eagle eye vision. Very grateful and thankful for the Ken that I am. And yes, thank you. Definitely give those shout outs, y'all, to Ken 34. He's tuning in through StreamYard. So, go ahead. say what's up to Ken 34 in the chat. But yes, I'm happy to be able to have the opportunity to share in this cosmology, to share in this platform. It really is a gift. And I am very, very thankful and grateful to have the opportunity to come up here to get things started for you. So I trust that everyone is feeling well. And if you're not feeling well, you're about to be feeling well, because it's going to be some great information that's coming forth. And you can't help but to elevate. Even if you, let's say you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, you're getting ready to be upright, okay? Once you start letting this information get into your system and into your soul and into your mind. So let's go ahead and take this ride together. This is a journey, and we're doing it as a collective of conscious beings on this journey on planet Earth. So we would like to elevate our consciousness by going over the prayer of the 7 galactic directions. I will be playing a video. I always like to give a huge shout out to Kim 165, our sister goddess Lisa Campbell. She created this video. So if you are new in this space, definitely enjoy it. And for those of us that have been here for quite some time, you enjoy it as well. So tune in for the prayer of the 7 galactic directions.
From the east, house of light, may wisdom dawn in us, so we may see all things in clarity. From the north, house of night, may wisdom ripen in us, so we may know all from within. From the west, house of transformation, may wisdom be transformed into right action, so we may do what must be done. From the south, house of the eternal sun, may right action reap the harvest, so we may enjoy the fruits of planetary being. From above, house of heaven, where star people and ancestors gather, may their blessings come to us now. From below, house of earth, may the heartbeat of her crystal core bless us with harmonies to end all war. From the center, galactic source, which is everywhere at once, may everything be known as the light of mutual love. Ayum Hunab Ku Eva Maya E Ma Ho. Ayum Hunab Ku Eva Maya E Ma Ho. Ayum Hunab Ku Eva Maya E Ma Ho. All hail the harmony of mind and nature.
Ashe, Ashe, and Ashe. Oh, so we also would like to give honor to the source of all creation, our dear, beautiful, and plentiful Mother Earth, our wonderful ancestors, our star elders, the foundation for the law of time, Jewel University of Immortal Sciences, the Melanin Six, master teachers, the Mimic Priesthood, those that are the priests and those that are in training, and the indigenous all over the planet, and that includes you and me. Ashe. So as I stated, today's message will be about the integrity of supreme receptivity. So this is going to be a great message bringing forth, and this is again Ken 34. So shout out to our brother Ivory, Ken 34. We appreciate your energy that you are sharing with us on this dawning, and we are looking forward to a little bit later hearing from Ken 66, Alcione Frederick. She is the White Magnetic World Bridger. She will be bringing an awesome message from the cosmos right to our living rooms and our bedrooms. Ashe. So one of the best gifts that can be given to you is to be able to exercise the full authority over your whole mind with all of its faculties and dimensions. That is a quote brought to us by Nebtaharka Kanish Kawakian 239. Nebtaharka has also let us know what a synchronistic human is. So if you are new to this space, feel free to get a screenshot of this. This is letting you know what we're doing, why we are here, who we are becoming, and all that good stuff. So a synchronistic human is someone who is able to be multidimensional while unifying energy from the synchronicities of natural time cycles towards the holonomic evolution of humanity, Mother Earth, and the galactic whole. Ashe. We do have a couple of upcoming announcements, y'all. It's not going to take too much of your time. You might want to get your pen and your pad handy for the notes that you're going to take for the session, but it's also a couple of dates that you want to be aware of. So let's just go ahead and hop into those announcements. Now, when you become a synchronistic human, there are levels to help you to climb up that ladder towards your higher consciousness. And the first level is our Infinite Aligned Memory I Am membership. Now, with your membership, we actually have two available for you. We have our monthly option where you pay every month, or you can do the year option. If you choose to pay the year option, it is $330, but you will save $99 annually. So that's really good. I know I love a good deal. I love a great savings. So you might want to hop on that. And those of you that have done that, we appreciate you so much for supporting this school. Now, if you are interested in doing the monthly option, it is $33 every moon or every month, okay? So now with the monthly options, you're going to get access to things like the New Kin Orientation, the Amplify Your Purpose session, Sync Talks, the Law of Time Basics videos. Now, once you get your membership, we're going to actually set you up with a student portal. So you're going to have all of the videos. Now, if you're not on the membership, you're not able to access all the replays, but when you get on the membership, you will have a student portal. So you can go in there anytime you like and review all the videos. Now we have these wonderful Law of Time Basics videos. Those are going to be great for anyone that's new to the cosmology. It's going to be breaking down the verbiage. It's going to be breaking down the calendars and why we're doing what we're doing. It's going to talk about basically the past, like the law of time, the Gregorian calendar, all of the flaws that's in it and why we should be shifting into the 13 moon calendar and so much more. Lots of wonderful videos. You also get discounts on your courses and coaching. So for instance, with your monthly membership, you can get up to 25%. And with the yearly membership, you can get up to 50% off of classes. And just when I say up to, I mean, like when we do open enrollment, in the beginning, you get the full 50% off. But as we get closer and closer and closer to the start of the courses, that percentage goes down. So it's best when it's at the highest point, you take advantage of your discounts. That's what they're there for. So it's really great. So if you're interested in participating in this membership, all you have to go to is to synchronistichuman.com/I am. Go to the website, check it out, read all about it, make your choices, and you sign up, and we will contact you by email with instructions on how to access your student portal. Ashe. Now, level 2, it is our New Kin Orientation. These sessions are facilitated by Kim 181. She is the beautiful moon goddess Ambrosia. We also call her the Fifth Force Oracle because she is bringing the force, okay? And she is going to be talking about the introduction to your galactic purpose signature, discovering your purpose, kin of the plasma, and so much more. We're currently taking a short pause because we are in our spring quarter courses. So we're actually not going to be having another New Kin orientation until the month of June. And I want to be very specific. It's going to be on June the 5th. So even though we are saying, hey, join the New Kin orientation, we're not going to do another one until June the 5th. So definitely write that day down and mark your calendar so you can be in the place and in that space. We will be sending out notifications when we're going to resume. We just don't want to bombard everyone too much with all the different activities and productions that we're doing along with courses, because we really want you to focus on studying at this time. We appreciate Moon Goddess for sharing her light, her energy, and her love for this cosmology, her passion and her heart. She is just a beautiful soul. I've had the opportunity to meet with her face to face, and she really is the moon goddess. She's got that energy going on. So if you ever get a chance to meet her, it's definitely going to be a treat. But we will see you on June the 5th for New Kin orientation. Now, we are currently in open enrollment. So we have the level 3. That's for those that want to take their studying a little bit deeper. We have self-study courses and live online courses. Indeed, I see you out there, Moon Goddess Ambrosia. Peace and love, sister. We appreciate you. I see you 178 too. And Dr. V, I see you in the place too. It's a lot of y'all up here. I appreciate y'all chiming in the chat. So we're doing our self-study and live online courses right now. A lot of you have signed up, but I just want to let you know it's not too late to sign up. It's not too late to sign up, being that it's a self-study. The courses will be in your portal so you can study at your own leisure. There will be some more live courses coming up as well. So we have our Natural Time 4D courses, Hollow Mind Perceiver 5D courses. We are not going to be doing the business development skills because we didn't have enough people to sign up for the courses. But we're going to do that in the future. So, we're going to just hold that for now. But there's a myriad of other courses, your Law of Time and your Hollow Mind Perceiver courses. So definitely tune in. I'm going to be putting some links in the chat after I hop off. Just the way this platform is set up, it's a little bit different. So when I'm up here speaking, I don't want to, be putting a lot of stuff in the chat, but I will get you those links so that you can sign up for courses if you haven't done so already. I know Moon Goddess, was unable to get on her course. She did the Law of Time 100 live session on yesterday. I know it was dynamic for those of you that were able to chime in. So yes, we're going to go ahead and keep it pushing, but y'all definitely want to get on these courses to help to ingrain the information, to get a deeper understanding, ultimately so that we can unlock the best parts of ourselves. Ashe. And we also have our level 4, which is quantum leaping into the new time. It's one-on-one synchronicity coaching. And y'all, you might get tired of me talking about it, but I'm not going to stop talking about it because this is what literally changed my life. Counseling didn't do it, okay? All other things that I tried in my life to shift my existence didn't do it, but this did it. So I can vouch for this process. This is a one-on-one plan that Neptaharka sets up for you, right? So if you're like, hey, I'm feeling stuck in my business, I'm feeling stuck in my relationships, I'm feeling stuck in myself. When you go through this process, okay, with Neb, he will hold your hand. You do have to do the work, but I'm telling you, it's life-changing. And I know those of you that have gone through it, you can vouch for this too. If you go back, if it was a long time ago, you can remember the process that Neb takes you through. And he's basically leading you back to yourself, leading you back to the most beautiful parts of yourself, okay? That's what it's all about. So I just want to highly encourage you. If you haven't done so, go ahead and hop on the coaching. And if you did go through the coaching and you feel like you want to get another round, go ahead and do it again, okay? Because Neb is bringing some different type of energy, and you definitely want to tap into this. It's powerful. So I'm thankful, Neb, if you're listening, thank you so much for the coaching. It has changed my life. Ashe. So as I stated, I did speak on this already, but we're going through the integrity. It's all about integrity, doing the right thing when it's hard, doing the right thing when no one is watching us, the integrity of supreme receptivity. Ashe, looking forward to this message. So we will be having another session. Let me blow this up so I can read it. Our next one is going to be on Kin 41. That's going to be on May the 4th. This time is going, y'all. Okay, so that's going to be on the Red Lunar Dragon. Neb is going to be talking about stabilizing your consciousness and states of being. So y'all want to tune in, same time, same place. We will be putting out publications about all of these events. So don't feel like, it's good to write this stuff down, but we help you. We let you know what's going on, right? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and full screen this one as well. So this is Calling All Connections. This is our Planning the 2025 Day Out of Time Doot event. Kin 1, 2, 3. That's a synchronicity right there. 1, 2, 3. Blue Rhythmic Night. Okay, so there's going to be planning sessions if you're having any type of an event, as you know, you have to come together with the team and plan for it so that you can have a wonderful event. This is not a one-person event, a one-person job. We love our yogini, okay? We love Kim 178, but she can't do it alone, all right? So she needs all hands on deck to support this movement so it can be a wonderful event for everybody. This will be our next event will be on Saturday, May the 10th. That's Ken 47, the Blue Galactic Hand. And I love how she has everything set up with these numbers, with these synchronicities. It's going to be at 123 at 1 p.m. 1:23 p.m. all the way to 2:22 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So y'all mark your calendars. We will be putting out a publication for this as well. So just be looking out on your emails and on social media. So we want to give thanks to Kim 178 for really just putting her heart and soul into these events so that they can be a beautiful experience for everybody. Ashe. Now follow Neb Taharka on social media. As you can see, and as you probably already know, he's on IG, he's on X, he's on Facebook, he's on TikTok, he's on YouTube. This man is literally everywhere. Okay. So y'all go ahead and make sure that you are supporting. I want to see more engagement on social media. I really would love to see that because, you know, we look and we comment on other people's stuff. We need to be showing some more love to this wonderful school and the publications that go out. So even if you put a heart or you put a comment up there, everything helps with the engagement because ultimately it's not even just about us. You know, it may seem like kind of a small group, but we want it to get out to the public. And so everyone can do their part by sharing or liking or commenting so it can get into that algorithm flow so it can reach more people. Because this is a global mission. This isn't just a Georgia mission or a Virginia mission. This is a worldwide mission. So definitely show some love to the social media accounts. It's greatly appreciated. And also another way that you can show some love is to donate to the Synchronistic Human School of Enlightenment. You can do that through Cash App at $, Yes, that's going to be $, Bluestorm 239. And we also have the PayPal link. I'm going to put just for to make things a little easier. I'm going to put the donation for the Cash App in the chat. Whatever you can do is all helpful. Okay. It's just basically giving back to the gift that has been given to you. I think it's only fair to give back unto our teachers because y'all remember when we used to go to church and we would pay them tithes, right? And we would do it. We would do it on time. We had our little envelopes with our name on it. We'd be taking it up there to the front to put in that basket. And we was happy and we was dancing on our way up there to give our donations. Yes, we need to give our donations here as well. Well, we called them tithes back then, but I feel like we were a lot more serious about that type of stuff back when we were in the Christian community. You know what I'm saying? No shot to the Christian community, but we need to donate to this wonderful school and this higher consciousness because it's important. So we'll put that out there to y'all. Now, this is the time where I'm gonna move on to the side, and we're gonna bring Ken 239 up so he can share this wonderful message with us. So Neb Taharka Kanish Kawa, he is the founder of the Synchronistic Human School of Enlightenment. He is the chancellor of this school. He has done over 1,200 hours, and I know that number is way higher than that by now. Coaching sessions and hours, okay? That's a lot of connecting with people. That's a lot of him pouring his energy out to help to transform people's lives. This is a big deal, y'all. We have the opportunity to share in this space with one of the greats of our time. So I definitely want to give honor to him. He's done over 20 consecutive semesters of teaching. Long time. He has been teaching the Hollow Mind Perceiver. And he also does the 13 moon calendar. It's so many things that Neb does, but he is that wonderful coach. He is that the lighthouse. I always call him. He's like my guiding light. You know, when I'm lost, I see that light over there and it's like, hey, come on, you know, get back on track, get back in there and give it another try. He is the most consistent person, most determined person that I know when all the odds seem like they're stacked up against him. Guess what he said? He said, bring it on and give me some more. And I'm like, wow, I've never met anybody like that. But the great thing about him being who he is and his drive and his determination, it inspires us to be able to do the same. So if he can do it, that means that we can do it. So y'all, we're going to go ahead and bring our master teacher forward, Neb Taharka Kanish Kawak, Ken 239. Y'all welcome him with an Shay. Enjoy the rest of the session. Peace, love, and power.
It's just different.
I am the world changer, coded by the blue storm. My number is 19, the power of all number. I am the master alchemist, the force behind the philosopher's stone. Skilled at the art of transmutation. I am the catalytic transformer of world consciousness and planetary living. I oversee the changes of the weather. I am the thunder that shatters your world systems. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions. I am the bringer of the drenching rains that purifies, fies. It was I who caused the triple Aztec monuments of the Avatar archetype to appear in the ancient temple grounds. I oversee the morning and the evening stars. I behold the creator of the fifth sun, the present world. Sent forth am I to dwell among you, calling forth the sixth sun. For the great regeneration of the world's soul, to know me is to know your own power of self-generation. To know me is to know your own power of self-generation. Self-generation is power. I am the transport of clouds filled with lightning to illuminate the truth behind your illusions. I am the bringer of the drenching rains that purifies, fies.
And in Bangladesh, another very powerful Can everybody hear me clearly? Am I being heard clearly? Just make sure, because I got a message for you that I can't mess up. I got a message for you today that technology can't mess up. I got a message for you today that you cannot miss. If I was you, I would be telling some people, y'all might want to get on and hear what Neb Taharka about to say on amplifying your purpose. You can hear me now clearly? Because I got a message for you that you don't want to miss. And the message don't want to miss you. Ashe? All right, give thanks to Ken 211. She really be working behind her. She's cool. She got a poker face when you see her. But behind the scenes, she be like, you ever see those swans that, on the pond, and they just be gliding across, you're like, oh, look at the nice swan. But underneath the water, be paddling like crazy. So that's what it seems like Ken 211 does, because I see her put this stuff together. I try not to look too closely because I don't want her to see me seeing her going like that. But she really puts in a lot of time and effort on flyers, making sure we got nice music, making sure that this is a production. And she really puts her heart and soul into anything that she does, whether it's announcements, facilitating the first half of the session. So I've been very pleased with just how much effort, and she puts forth the effort into this, and it really makes me go harder as well, because when I see people like her putting forth the effort I know some people are getting. And I know some other people out there, that really help out. Priestess Abibula, thank you for all your contributions and supplements that you send me. Moon Goddess Ambrosia always has a very positive energy about that she sends my way, and appreciation and gratitude. Alcione Frederick, who you're going to hear a little bit later, who just really is so eloquent in her speech and how she articulates the message and how she's able to integrate a lot of different modalities, how astrology and all this comes together. She's very skilled with sharing that. Brother Akil is just so dynamic, and I just can't love on that brother enough. He just shows up and shows out every heptad, which we call a week. He comes in and he's doing the hollow mind perceiver chart so that I don't have to take the time and the space to do it. And he's always happy to help, So I give so much thanks. I give thanks to Ken 220 for stepping up for the announcements. Ken 163, Adila for helping with the announcements. Also Ken 134 for helping with the announcements. And so this is all orchestrated. What do they say? What God's initiates, God's orchestrate. And so what you see is us orchestrating our evolution. And so how big is it for you to make a decision and say, I am going to orchestrate my evolution with a group of people that want to orchestrate their evolutions. And so it doesn't matter at this point, the circumstances that you find yourself in, or if you see yourself in the muck and the miry, is designed to bring you up and out of the mess better than you were before. Better, stronger, faster, more intelligent, and more evolved. So don't use your circumstances as a way to be depressed. Don't use your circumstances as a way to say, God don't love me. Use your circumstances and say, wait a minute, this just means I need to step up my game. I know it hurts for me to get up and walk around that track. I know it hurts being in a bad relationship. I know it hurts to be broke, right? I know it hurts to have a degenerative condition. I know it does. But I'm talking to you today because the power of God in you can bring something through you that's already in you that you didn't know you had. It's an equalizer. And that equalizer says that God is able to equalize and better to offset any condition that you find yourselves in. It doesn't matter what it is right now. Who are you to be carrying around 100 million years of memory? Who are you to have the intuitive impulses that make you greater than you are? Who are you to come from the ethers and come together? And ether is in together as a physical being on a physical planet to manifest your physical reality. I'm going to tell you, we're going to amplify the purpose today with supreme receptivity. And so this is a divine appointment because we're not conceptualizing only. We're not just realizing. We are actualizing our power in the new time. And nobody who's able to actualize their own power can fail. You cannot fail. It doesn't matter what the medical community says. It doesn't matter what your relative says. What matters is what you say, because you say what you say because you listening to what God says. and you will defy the odds. Everybody say with me, defy the odds. How can you be carrying around 100 million years of memory and not defy the odds of someone that don't even know they have 100 years of memory and make programs to keep you encapsulated into lack and limitation? You are more powerful than you could ever believe. But what I want you to do is I want you to step up in that power when it hurts the worst. I want you to step up in your power when it's the hardest. I want you to step up in your power when you think you have 1% doubt and you feel like you're out. I want you to step up right there and say, I'm going to do it just a little bit more. It was amazing. I was this dawning. I usually do about 20,000 steps, and I saw some guys at the track last Sunday down here in Miami. One thing I noticed about the people down here where I'm at, they're all focused on their health, bettering their health. They add it. They're drinking green drink. I mean, they add it. It's just all around me, right? The weather's nice. They ain't chilling. So I'm at the track 3 times a day, and this time last Sunday I came to the track. Before I do my sessions, I do my 10,000 steps at least. And I seen these guys, and they were bear crawling around the track. They were doing lunges, one whole lap around the track. Now, because of my condition and my healing process, I hadn't exerted myself that way. I kind of do moderate workouts, and I walk the 20,000 steps, and I'll do some pull-ups, but I won't try to train too hard because I don't want to create stress and that kind of thing. And I saw him again today, and I told him my situation. I said, you guys inspired me. And I told them, the condition that I was dealing with. And they said, oh, man, you inspired us. They said, we're going to be here at 7:30. We're going to be here at 7:30 every Sunday. And they were getting it. When I tell you they were getting it unlike I could ever believe. And so with that process, it inspired me because I hadn't been running a lot. But I said, I'm not going to bear crawl yet. See, we're going to have increments of success. But what I'm going to do, these straightaways, right? These straightaways on this track, I'm going to run them as hard as I can. It won't be quite a sprint, but I'm going to run them. So I said, I'm going to do 4 laps, right? And that means that I'm going to sprint the straightaways 2 times. And so with that process, I the first lap, I did the first 2 straightaways. I felt pretty good. The second lap, I said, let me do it again. I said I would do 4 laps, right? I felt pretty good. I was sprinting. And then the guys, they stopped me. And it was a lady, they had a kid, they had a stroller out there, they were lunging. And they said, man, I said, man, I'm not bear crawling yet, but just watch me. Watch me. And then so I end up doing 8 laps of sprinting. And as I sprinted, I said, wait a minute. I can do more. I'm out there with my shirt off and people see I don't look like I got something going on. And they said, man, you inspiring us. We all inspiring each other. So I ended up doing 8 laps. I'm making a point here. So that means I did 16 straightaways, which is really 4 laps of running. That's a mile. And so with how I operate, you can't let me have a victory like that. See, that's a quantum leap for me because I didn't want to overexert myself. But I said, let me just get on. And every time I went harder. And let me tell you, if you was a fly on the wall, you hear my self-talk. I'm a leader. I'm a champion. I'm a God. I love myself. And I'm sitting up here running like that. I'm showing you what to do because you may think it's silly if you see somebody talking to themselves. And I said, hey, I'm going harder and harder. I am somebody. I'm on my way somewhere. I got something big to do. You don't look at the person that's standing on your left and right and tell them you don't know who you standing next to. The whole track was looking at me like, who in the heck is this? And I'm just a reflection of them. I'm just a reflection to you. And I don't care how loud it gets. I don't care how fast I talk. I don't care how strong I look. I'm not going to dim my light into failure and into mediocrity. And I'm showing you by example. And neither are you. You can do more. You and I can do more. And here I have a diagnosis of colorectal cancer a month ago, and I'm doing things I couldn't do before I even had the diagnosis. Because it don't affect me like that, because I'm not in the artificial time of fear. I'm not in the circumstantial persona. So therefore, when I've seen other people at the stage that I'm at, they need help up the stairs. It takes a lot of energy to walk from one place to another, and here God has blessed me to be able to run, to be able to do 20 and 30 and 40 and 50 pull-ups, and to meditate and to speak with passion to you. The power of God in you is more powerful than anything that you're going through. And you just remember that. Who am I? Because I know some of you are going through a struggle. I know some of you right now are not happy where you are in life, even though you're getting this knowledge. I know some of you are tired of people that don't seem as evolved as you, that's telling you what to do, or you got to depend on them. And I'm going to tell you, keep pressing, keep focusing. And remember, we are actualizing in the new time. So today we're talking about the integrity of supreme receptivity. Supreme receptivity. What are we going to be receiving that's so supreme? And I'm going to show you better than tell you. All right, before we bring up Alcyone. So remember, if you're new, we follow the galactic consciousness of the galactic Maya, the Olmecs, right, which is the She people, the Dogon, and we are orchestrating our mind and our habits so we can access our true mind, I should say. Okay, so that means to access your cosmic memory, you must follow cosmic cycles. Now, you can try and keep trying to follow these artificial cycles like the Gregorian calendar, and let that be the base for your spirituality. Let that be the base for your universal law. Let that be the base for everything, and you will find you will come up short. Because the mathematical system that supports the matrix is the decimal mathematical system, the binary codes, the 1 and the 0s that binds you into limitation. The synchronicities of nature and natural time expand you into infinitum. So I don't know 13, Friday the 13th is scary, or 13th I've been told is a bad number. You've been told bad things. You've been told bad things about things from people that have a limited perspective and systems that limit you. So of course it's going to sound bad. Okay, so you need to learn how to follow. I'm not going to go through this every time. You got to take some time and say, how does this 13 moon calendar start? How does it work? Okay, this disrupts the logical reasoning side of the brain that is programmed for what? Expiration. Programs expire and have to be what? Upgraded or deleted. Right? This other one that you see is the Tzolk'in. It's the 260-day calendar. It is the calendar to help you evolve by accessing your cosmic memory. And so you learn how that works. And then what we do is we sync them together, and that synchronization helps open up our whole mind so we can evolve. And so this is a picture of it. The whole mind perceiver is right in the middle where the corpus callosum and the pineal gland is, and it projects an overlay. Now, mind you, this is telepathically imprinted. That's how I know we're in the age of telepathy. And I do this on a daily basis. When it projects an overlay on the brain, it shows you how to access the different dimensions in the cosmos in your brain, because you are the cosmos. And as you realize that, you won't let a condition punk you. As you realize that, you won't let brokenness become a permanent disposition in your life. As you realize that, you won't be saying, oh me, oh my, I can't find nobody to love me or to love in this reality as a companion of destiny. You'll find yourself empowered. You see? So we're synchronizing the left and the right hemispheres of the brain to access the whole mind. I dare you to do it. I dare you to access your whole mind and still live in lack and limitation. You can't do it. It's impossible. Once your mind has been stretched, it can never go back to its original state. And I heard that 20 and 30 years ago, but I didn't understand the science behind it. Once you have tapped in to that 100 million years of memory, you can never go back to just acting like you only know 100. You can never let the artificial programs rule you, because you're going to say, how can an artificial program rule 100 million years of memory? And in them 100 years of memory is showing me who I am. That's far greater than what I've been able to demonstrate on this planet. How many of you ready to access your whole mind? Or you just want to keep sticking your toe in it? Let me just watch Neb. Let me watch Neb overcome colorectal cancer. Let me watch Neb orchestrate this school. Let me just sit in the stands and watch Neb. Who is ready to get out the stands and get in the center of the court and use your power like never before? Because you have it. And for you to rest on your laurels, you are doing a disservice to yourself as the power of God in you. And you're doing this world a disservice by not shining your light on your divine purpose. No matter who makes an executive order, no matter who kicked this organization or that organization, none of them had the power over the whole cosmos. But you had the whole cosmos supporting you. And it starts with your mind. They don't even want to fool with you accessing your whole mind. They don't want to encapsulate. People who's using their whole mind. They don't get enslaved. They don't get colonized. They don't let brokenness stop them from going where they want to go. They don't care about relationships that don't work. They are a divine example. And so the next objective, family, is for you to tap into this power that I'm talking about. And stop playing. While you playing, stop playing. Because I got a lot of excuses that I can make. And I'm doing more than the person that got everything going in their favor. So what you gonna do? Yes, I'm talking strong and passionate to you because I know who you are if you made it on this line. Now it's time to elevate. So we go through the steps. First step, 13 moon calendar. We're in the planetary moon on the 24th plasma, right? Here we go. This is the 260-day calendar, the Zokin. This is the galactic DNA that activates the God molecule, because you activate your memory. You forgot you were God. You didn't remember. You dismembered from the God community and Godship to reduce yourself as something less than God. And as a result of that, you have put yourself in a position where you now, see, even the dog's trying to get it. The dog is saying, I'm God spelled backwards. I done activated the dog to think about how powerful you are. You see? So now you're seeing, where am I in the galactic DNA? Where am I in the memory field? What portal am I in to access? Where you think your portals are accessing? Memory. All the astrology, all the universal law, all the cosmic law is designed for you to remember that it's all that in all the trillions of cells in your body. You're a walking cosmos. All right. So today's affirmation, and give thanks for Ken 34, who's a brilliant brother. He does comedic yoga like I never seen anybody. I can't wait to get him on here to razzle and dazzle you. Happy galactic return, Ken 34. He's an amazing being down in Tuskegee, Alabama area. And this is the expression of the creator that he was born into this reality through his mother's portal. Ken 34, and this is my mother's kin, the expression that she created contractions to come into this physical world. The way spell, the cycle of evolution, is the way spell of the hand, which deals with evolving through knowing, healing, and accomplishing. The affirmation states, I harmonize, not harm. I harmonize in order to enchant. Modeling receptivity, I seal the output of timelessness with the galactic tone of integrity. I am guided by the power of endlessness. Now, what you're going to find about supreme receptivity is that the mirror dimensions receive every expression you radiate out into the universe, and it mirrors it in your physical reality, what you energetically are sending out. I harmonize in order to enchant, modeling receptivity. I got to be a model to receive what I'm putting out, because if you're not a model, you can't change it. I seal the output of timelessness. That's the unending evolution of consciousness. With the galactic tone of integrity, I am guided by the power of endlessness. One more time to lock it in. I harmonize in order to enchant, modeling receptivity. I seal the output and the expression of timelessness with the galactic tone of integrity. I am guided by the power of endlessness. And so you can see now with step 3, we put the 260-day calendar and the 13-moon calendar together. So this makes this now a synchronometer. Now, if you want your life to be guided and orchestrated and supported by the synchronicities, which is the same thing that supports nature, then you have to follow synchronometers and not calendars that's designed to tax you and to program your mind that time is not the evolution of consciousness. Time is money. Time is what you capitalize. No. In the 4th dimension, time is what we create. Time is how we evolve what we create, and time is how we evolve consciousness, and we show those clues on the material plane. Which one do you want? Artificial or authenticity? And so you can see when these two come together that now we're on the 24th plasma. The name of today's plasma is Gamma. Gamma is the balance of heat and light, and is connected to the all-seeing eye, or what we call the third eye. And what does that third eye give you? Who are you to have a third eye nobody can see? Who do you think you are? Let me tell you who I think you are. That third and all-seeing eye has unlimited vision beyond the physical body, beyond the planet, beyond the galaxy, beyond the universe, into the unmanifest. And it also has the ability, now that you see all these different versions of yourself, to change your self-image into something greater that can facilitate and orchestrate a whole cosmos, a whole universe, a whole planet. Who are you to be able to do that? And so this moon, the planetary moon, so we're in April showers. That didn't do much for me. April means the floral goddess. But let me tell you what the planetary moon says. It says, it asks you a question. Watch this. How do I perfect what I do? It doesn't tell you you're going to feel bad on this day because the planets are this way. It didn't say, don't do this. It says, how do I, as a God in the body, perfect what I do? And you know what you find? The more you perfect what you do, the more you manifest the results and the purpose that you're doing it for. So instead of saying it's Sunday, we call it Gamma, to open up your eye in ways you haven't been open before, so you can see a new version and remember a new version of yourself that's beyond who you are. And that's how you conquer heights that you haven't had to struggle with thus far. All right, so let's look at that. Now we're going into the whole mind. So today's super mental access, thanks to Ken 38, is a mind map and how it projects over the brain, the hollow mind perceiver. This is the third out of 7 mental spheres. And this mental sphere contains fleeting and moment-to-moment awareness and is responsive to immediate external stimuli. It is meant to stabilize ordinary consciousness into cosmic awareness. Now, I caution you, because if it's stable, I think about how many people are emotionally unstable. See, we minimize our power and what we do because we always are just looking at what's happening with everybody else. But just think about the people that are dealing with mental illness. Think about the people that are dealing with emotional trauma. And so focusing and meditating on this sphere is meant to stabilize ordinary consciousness emotionally, spiritually, and intellectually into cosmic awareness. Now, when you move into cosmic awareness, see, this is cosmic habit force. They talk about that in the book Think and Grow Rich. And so cosmic habit force says all you have to do with your heart is send a signal of what you want to be in this body and demonstrate that behavior, and we will send it to you. You will attract it. You attract who you are, not what you want. This is also known as the sphere where you free the will from the ego and the system of limitations. Now think about when you get off here, there's a whole bunch of systems of limitation. They're gonna tell you you can't do this, and if you got colon cancer, you better go and get surgery. Really? Well, if it can get to that way, it can unget to that way. So that's not how we do it in the 4th dimension. When we have something unnatural happens, we just get natural. So you got to free the will from edging God out. And how do we edge God out? Blockages. Where do the blockages come from? Shame, apathy, guilt. Guilt will have you destroying all kinds of stuff. You see, the dog said, Ashe. But the dog is God spelled backwards. And we have an archetype, the dog, that's the compassionate one. And sometimes the unloved lover, to teach us compassion as humans. You see? So when you going to stop edging God out so you can be? Well, how do we do it? We create blockages with pride, anger. Anger just means you want to control something that you don't need to control. Right? So I always ask, and I had an anger problem. I'm still working on it too. That's why I find myself in the position that I'm in, because I suppressed anger, because I see how this world is, and I got angry about it. How many of you angry about it? I'm not the only one, but you can't suppress it because it's going to materialize an energy in your body, and that energy in your body is going to take you down until you say, let me release and surrender. right? If we blow this up, I want to show you something. Look at here. The cumulative harmonic frequency is in the heart. This is the inner core time, the ninth time dimension where everything operates from. Okay. All right. But this, what I got circled, look, it says time. We know time is the evolution of consciousness, but look at what it is. PSIN is where this cross is. Psychosensory information in. We're talking about supreme receptivity. So a lot of us have this neurotransmitter blocked in pre-consciousness. It's blocked because we're more focused on what we ain't than who we can be and who we are. We're more focused on the circumstance that pissed us off than the promised land that we're headed into. And so your subconscious mind is what you're in supreme receptivity of, that says, your wish is my command. Let me give you a reality based on that impulse that you just sent me. And the mirror is the guide. So everything you're looking at is mirroring you and your emotional self, your spiritual self, everything you've amassed yourself into right now. Your physical reality is a reflection of your emotional, spiritual, and intellectual energy. And so some people say, no, it's not, Neb. Well, that could be true because your paradigm is the power is outside of me. So now that makes you a victim of circumstance. But if anybody is thinking like I'm thinking, I think that I am the source and I am the creator of my earthly fate. I am the source and the creator of my experience on this planet, not something outside of me. Then guess what I just did? I just did on you. Because now I took responsibility and I supremely receive what's being mirrored back to me. And you know what that gives me the power to do? That gives me the power to change it. I don't need a government doing a executive order to change something for me that I can change for myself. I don't need my mom to do it. I don't need my dad to do it, because when I'm out there getting it in, it's me and God. So what you gonna do to use your power? You gonna spend your time complaining about executive orders and this, that, and the other, or you gonna be beyond executive orders, beyond government? Because the government is only designed to govern the mental capacity of those sentient beings that hadn't realized themselves as gods yet in the body. So you got a decision to make. Is the power outside of you? Let your circumstances tell you who you are. Let everybody tell you what you should do and tell you what to do, like a worm or somebody who is powerless in this reality. You can't be powerless if you got over 100 million years of memory in your brain. Who are you to be walking around with all that memory and in a state of amnesia? Wait till you realize that you got it. And they're going to look past. It's like you're going to be invisible to these challenges, because you're going to realize something. And they're going to say, oh, man. And they're going to be whistling going by you. Before they would have pulled you over. Now they say, have a nice day. Because they can pick up on your auric field who you are. Yeah, so I'm telling you today, be in supreme receptivity of this message so we can stop playing our life small and get into the big leaves. Don't sweat the small stuff, they used to say, because it's all small stuff. You know why they say it's all, which is an absolute small stuff? Because the reality of it is you are God in the body, and it's all small to God. Your subconscious doesn't know the difference between a penny and $1 million. But you do. And your focus is going to determine your fate. So when we tap into the whole mind, now we got access to everything that created the cosmos, which created you. So now, let me ask you a question. This is the science behind this. I can do all things through God that strengthens me, or I can do all things by putting Christ first, Christ consciousness first, or whatever you say, whatever modality. Do you understand how it works now? Now you got access to how the whole cosmos works and how it creates and how it created you. So what can't you do now? What can't you do? There's more than what you're doing. Y'all too cool out there for me. I can feel it. You're not ready to go to that next octave where you start to triumph over things that tribulated you and troubled you in your mind. You got to be more than ready. You got to be prepared to do what's necessary. And it's only a few of you that's really, when you get off here, going to take what I say serious. And it's okay if you don't do it yet, because it might be next month, moon, or next solar cycle for some of you. It might be 5 solar cycles from now, but it's going to happen, because it didn't happen for me until I was in my 40s like this. So don't worry. But all I know is if you keep doing what you're doing, it's going to happen. Ashe? It's going to happen. And you're a million times better than how you are right now, even if you think you're good. Even if you think you got it all figured out, you're a million times better, because we ain't tapped into 100 million years of memory yet. Ashe? So let's talk a little bit more about, I got a formula for you before I bring up the wonderful and the dynamic and the amazing Alcyone to talk about heliophysics. But the integrity of supreme receptivity, I say it's integral, and it's integrity because it always reflects your energy field. Now that's hard to accept, because some of us think we're a victim of circumstance. Now let me tell you, if you think that, that's okay, but this won't work for you the way I'm talking about. You have to go into self-acceptance, and you have to take responsibility for your incarnation and say, I am the source and I am the creator of my earthly destiny. Boom! Once you do that, you now are responsible for what happens in your life. Not for what you do, but for what happens. And so you can have things happen and say, that wasn't to my liking. And then you turn around and change what happened. Now that's power. All right. So in this, what do you need to be in supreme receptivity of? Let me talk about the subconscious for a moment for you. Because a lot of us are conscious, but most of us are not subconscious. Why is the subconscious so important? Because it's the quiet listener that records all of our patterns, all of our lies. Yes, 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 you lie. Even the one with the most integrity on here, you lied to yourself. You lie. You just don't talk about that. But your subconscious records it and tells on you based on what's produced in your life. If you're a victim of circumstance, you'll deny it, and you'll be right, because you ain't at the consciousness level to receive, to be in supreme receptivity of what I'm saying. But your subconscious is so important for you to make quantum leaps, because your subconscious is going to tell you this is the energy that you're giving off. So let me give you an example. Let's say you're a double-minded person or indecisive person. So what happens, every thought is an electrical lines of force, a frequency that goes out into the ethers. That's why I said you came from the ethers, right? And it returns a physical and spiritual equivalency. The subconscious takes your vibration and goes out and matches the physical with the spiritual, emotional, and intellectual frequency. And so most of the time we deny God. And we say, that ain't me. I know it reflecting in circumstances, but that ain't me. And they blame it on someone else. And that circumstance was designed to inform you. This is the frequency, which is the currency that creates your circumstances. This is the frequency you're giving off. And so when you give off that frequency, right, and in all these circumstances show up, you can look at the circumstances, the mirror, you're guided by the mirror today. And the mirror says, this is a reflection of everything energetically that you're producing right now. Do you want this? That's what subconscious is saying. They don't ask you, but I'm telling you what it says. Do you want this? And then you got a choice to make. Who? Me? No, I didn't want it like that. I had a thought that it was going to be something different. I want what I want, and what I expect to experience is this. Well, what's going to happen? Watch this. Watch this now. Your higher self is going to give you a download when you say you want something different than what showed up. And you're going to say, is that from God? Yes. And then what your job is, and sometimes it comes with instructions, or you may have to ask for more questions for instruction. This is how you build a relationship with the God in you. Now, what I do when I receive the download, I'm like, and the download is a vast amount of detailed information. So that's how I know it's a download, right? Then I take and I say, okay, how can I write those words down? I can't shut your whole memory field off, 100 million years of memory off. I can't shut it all down and say, I'm going to just settle for what I am right now. But how can I open this whole field of consciousness open for your subconscious to be deployed and go and get you the answer in the form of an instruction and say, this is what you got to be in supreme receptivity of now. Ask and you shall be given. How can I do this in this certain manner? And then you're going to get the instructions. Now, you know what most of us do? Most of us get afraid and don't do nothing. Let me tell you, the best thing you can do is the right thing. The second best thing you can do is the wrong thing, because you're going to learn a lesson. You can't be afraid to learn a lesson, right? You're going to get challenged. You can't get rich without a challenge. You can't fulfill your purpose without a little challenge, right? And the worst thing you can do is nothing. The best thing you can do is the right thing. The second best thing you can do is the wrong thing, because you're going to learn a lesson from it. And the third thing, that's the worst thing you can do, is no thing at all. You can't learn nothing from nothing, because nothing from nothing leaves nothing. And so many of us are operating in the nothingness in life, expecting abundance. So when you get those instructions, that's when it's time to go to work. And it doesn't matter what you feel like at that point. The power of God in you and the universe it has unlimited energy. So it ain't even about your energy yet. I need some reserves. I need the unlimited power and the unlimited energy to be able to give me a lifeline and galvanize my life force so I can take on this next task. And so you got to be in supreme receptivity of the download. You got to be in supreme receptivity of the instructions. And you got to be in extreme receptivity and supreme receptivity of how you discipline yourself to carry out those instructions. That's how you build your character. That's how you build staying power. And that's how you justify that I'm here. I remember somebody said, so what qualifies you to do this? I did. Damn it. I approved me. I executive ordered me. I said I can do it because I know I can do it, and I am doing it, and you can't stop me from doing it, and I can't stop me from doing it. I approved me. I appointed me. Who appointed you? You waiting for some approval? You waiting for somebody to appoint you? You appoint yourself. Well, what qualifies you for being here? The fact that I'm here is called presence. So you know you're operating bodaciously when you step up in the place and you know who you are. And today I was at the track screaming and hollering, I am somebody. I'm on my way, because I was quantum leaping. I was doing something I hadn't done before. And I wanted the ethers to shake from the volume of my voice. I didn't care who heard me. I didn't care what they thought I sounded like, because I am here to accomplish the mission. So what you got to do, family, you got to be in supreme receptivity of what this subconscious is showing you. It's just repeating to you the patterns that has been recorded, that is playing back to you. And we get into denial. And once we're in denial, we can't fix the pattern, because we won't even acknowledge that you serve a God so powerful. It shows you the details of when you mess up. So you can say, oh, my intention, the ninth tone, the solar tone of intention, was not for it to be such as this. My intention was to manifest that. And then the universal mind downloads to you, oh, through the subconscious. And the subconscious says, you are supposed to use the details of this download. That's how you do it. And then I said, oh, I thought I was doing that, but I was only on the surface. I wasn't deep enough in it. And then you get more instruction. Yeah, so what you need to do is you need to get up now instead of 7:30. You need to get up at 6:30. Well, I'm going to be more tired. No, it's a circulation problem you got, not a rest problem. You rest too much and you ain't got enough circulation. You need to get the blood flowing so the oxygenated blood can get to your brain and get to your energy to create the mitochondria so you can do what you didn't think you had the energy to do before. Spend too much time talking about I'm too tired to do this. Shake yourself and start having energetic thoughts, and you'll feel like you're more energetic, and you'll say, wait a minute, I am more energetic. And then you'll know how to become more energetic because you just did it. I do it all the time. I'm just willing to get a little uncomfortable to get there. So we are pushing a serious agenda. The integrity of supreme receptivity is a reflection of who you already are. But a lot of times we reject the reflection instead of surrender and accept it. And if we can surrender and accept it, we can become more from it. And watch how your life changes. Watch the people, the places, the resources, and things that show up for you. The wizard states, I am the wizard, coded by the white wizard. 7 doubled is my number, the sign. I'm giving you something to be integral about in supreme receptivity. Receive this. It's the sign of my, say it with me, super mental absorption into the forces of cosmic creation. You know what that means? That if you accept that, you accept that you have the power to create a whole cosmos. What is a whole cosmos? It's your reality that you're creating right now on earth. They call it cosmos, we call it reality. Macrocosm, microcosm. Within the crystal sphere of my thought process, my brain is all that can be seen or known. Through my supreme receptivity, I leave you the clues of resonant definition that you call time. That Nephta Harker says time is the evolution of consciousness. Suspend all thought. That means stop thinking with the consciousness that you have right now and enter with me into the timeless, right? That means there's no end to the evolution of consciousness. Enchantment, great delight that I access unlimited power of my oracle. the wizard's oracle by which dimensions are sewn together. My mind is the universe. My body is the world that you see. My speech is the melodious sound of the natural world. My third eye is the triangulation of body, speech, and mind. I am the giver of magical names. I hold the secret of the lost chord, which is the seventh dimension. The music of the spheres, the mental spheres, the thinking layers of the cosmos, the higher vibration of cosmic law. To know me is to know the trees, for I am the movement and measure of natural order, the hu now, ku, eva, maya, e, ma, ho. Woo! So you need to be in receptivity of this cosmic mind. And in the spells of self-sabotage, in the spells of low deserve levels, in the spells of illness and disease. You are the curse breaker. If you can be cursed, you can be a curse breaker. You just have to decide to. And so some of y'all need to get on this I Am membership. Why? Because you want to get into the self-study. Let me tell you, you don't want to be idle in an ocean of programs, because you know what the programs are going to do? If you're in the ocean of programs, they're going to influence you to do what the programs want you to do, which is benefit the programs more than you benefit yourself. So you got to have something to disrupt. And waiting is not an option. Try it, right? Wait another year and see. You'll be behind, right? And you won't be able to advance yourself. At least when you advance yourself, now you can make everything better in your life. It's a cost. What they say, success, right? It's paid up front and in full. The only place success comes before work is in the dictionary. So them disciplines and work you got to do, right? And so last chance to get on the classes. This is week 3. Tonight, we're going to be doing the Hollow Mind Perceiver, lecture 3. Alcione, who you're going to hear in just a moment, is going to do it, and it's going to be phenomenal. She is very articulate with this. And so I'm going to be on there briefly to support, but more importantly, for those of you that really see value in accessing your whole mind, now is the time. Because you can see what the limited mind gets you to do. It gets you to worry. It gets you to doubt. It gets you into fear, right? So email me now. There's a discount. I'm not going to tell you the discount. But if you want to do it, email me. I want to be in the class. I got challenged, or I didn't know. Okay. And I want you to email me, and then I'm going to tell you the discount based on who emails me and what you say your situation is. And we're going to go from there. Okay. So email me today. I want to be in the class. I know I need to do this, right? And I want you to really be in it. I don't want you to be on the surface of it. I want you to go deep. Okay. And so, and even if you're somebody that's seasoned, you really need to do it, because you'll backslide, and you what do they say? If you don't use it, you lose it. And then once we start going at light speed, the people that should be moving ahead of schedule, they're going to be behind schedule, because they got to do some reworking, right? So get in the classes. You don't have to get into it right now. Just email me. I want to be in it, or tell me more about it, and get in it and work it. Now, some people got in it in the winter, but they didn't work it. I need to show you how to work it, because then you're going to be able to do stuff like what I'm talking about. You ain't going to be able to do it on the surface. I'm just telling you, it ain't going to work. Right? So you'll make me think that you're doing it so hard and so fast, and I know you're really not doing that much. I know you're not probably reading the signature every day. I know you're probably not looking at I'm talking about the majority of people are not. Right? Let me give you an example. If it's 100 of you, right, then it's probably only about 10 that are doing it every day. Right? I'm telling you. I could promise you. Be honest with yourself. Have integrity with yourself. You see, you know what you're gonna say to yourself after this? He right. I ain't really working this like I could because I got what? This distraction, that distraction. No. Suspend all thought. And what does that mean? Suspend all distractions and focus. And them little distractions will disappear. They will adjust to your frequency. All right. So email me, get in the classes because let me tell you, after this semester, I won't be teaching classes on this level for a year. For a year. So if you want to hear something from me, you better do it now. Because once we get into the crystal moon, which is May 30th, I'll be focused on some behind the scenes things. So a lot of the coaching, a lot of the classes, a lot of these sessions, I will not be doing. So you need to get whatever you need to get right now, or you're going to have to create it like I did for the last 9 years if you so desire to. All right. So I'm encouraging you to move forward in your evolution, deep into it, so you can be who you really are, who I know you to be. All right. So let's quantum leap into the new time. I want to go ahead with the declaration, and I want to bring up our next speaker. I want to say the declaration of evolution. You need to tell all 100 trillion of your cells that we evolving today, right? So I'm gonna say, I say your name, hereby declare. I'm gonna say my name, but when I say my name, you say your name. I won't hear you, but I'm gonna feel you. I say your name, Neb Taharka, hereby declare that I will make evolution my number one priority. I say your name, Neb Taharka, hereby declare that I will clear any karma associated with my existence once revealed. I say your name, Neb Taharka, hereby declare that I will discover, carry out, and become my purpose. I say your name, Neb Taharka, hereby declare that I will remove any judgments that I have of myself and others. I say your name, Neb Taharka, hereby declare that I will look for and remove any spiritual blockages or misalignments once revealed. I say your name, Neb Taharka, hereby declare that I will end any cycles that don't support my evolutionary process. I say your name, Neb Taharka, hereby declare that I will show compassion for all beings and all other species on the planet. I say your name, Neb Taharka, hereby declare that I will be patient with my process and others going through their processes as well. I say your name, Neb Taharka, hereby declare that I will be disciplined and focused when things get challenging. And mark my words, they will get challenging. I say your name, Neb Taharka, hereby declare that I will listen to my intuition and carry out its instructions when received. And lastly, I say your name, Neb Taharka, hereby declare that I will ultimately strive for self-mastery. Ashe, Ashe, and Asheo. I trust that you got something dynamic out of this message for you today. And it's your time to advance yourself like never before. On behalf of the Synchronistic Human School of Enlightenment and all of the students, I thank you for listening to me and help me bring forth another dynamic kin and source of power that's just out of this world. And I tell you, I am so excited about this individual because she focuses on heliophysics and the solar report and how it influences and empowers our minds to evolve. So her name is Alcione Fredericks. She is Kin 66, the white magnetic world bridger. Help me bring to the forefront for our space report none other than the dynamic, the amazing, the beautiful smile of Alcione Kin 66 in the house. Welcome to the platform. What you got for us to help us evolve?
Thank you so much. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much, Neb. How are you doing? Thank you. We appreciate you. We talking about this integrity towards supreme receptivity. Sometimes there are things that we have to dissolve. And as we are coming out of this planetary moon of manifestation and into the spectral moon of dissolution, of dissolving those things that do not serve, this is a really opportune time for us to release what doesn't serve so that we can be liberated from that, right? And so that we can actually have the space to incorporate the real time, the new time that we're in. And so we're going to go ahead and jump into this topic, because right now we are being pelted through the equinox effect, the Russell McFerrin effect. We are being pelted with solar weather, and all of this is sun codes that are forcing us to sending new information to our planet to force us to evolve. And so you want to be receptive, or you're going to find yourself in a situation where you are going to be left behind. And, at the same time, the grace of the law of time, of being always able to have the opportunity to grow into a greater level of self-awareness. And so I'm going to share my screen real quick, and we'll get set up there. I'm going to share my screen so we can jump in to the PowerPoint. And can everyone's hearing me all right? Excellent. Thank you so much. Let's see. We want to do window, and we're going to share. And let's see. Are we, does it come up? Can everybody see the screen? All right, are we good? Let's see. We want to share the screen. Is the screen sharing? Can everybody see that? Perfect. Excellent. Thank you so much, Eshe. All right. So let's see. We want to, is this not blowing up for us? Well, we'll just go ahead and go right in. Let's see. I'm not seeing the pages turn, Eshe, on the PowerPoint. Sorry about the technical. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Thank you so much. All right. So do we have anybody who's new with us today? If you don't mind kind of letting us know in the chat, because for those of you who have been rocking with us for a while, okay, we know that for those of you who've been rocking with us since the beginning of last year, you're well aware that we are in a solar cycle called Solar Cycle 25, which is a period, 11-year period of activity. The sun has an 11-year cycle of high activity and low activity, and we are in that high activity right now. And so with that being said, what's interesting is that this high activity began last year in 2024, and it is anticipated that 2025 could potentially see another kind of bump, a boost in solar activity, because we're kind of overdue for some heavy solar weather. And so this is a very interesting time that we're in. And so in 2022, before 2022, we were in this cycle of kind of no sunspots, no solar activity. And so we were not receiving source codes. But now we've been pretty much inundated with sunspots and source codes since 2022. And we're expected to be in this energy for at least maybe about another year. And so as you can see here on the slide, you'll see that we have some vocabulary of the solar phenomenon that's occurring right now during these solar maximum. So how we know there's a solar maximum is that we have an uptick in intensity in the solar phenomenon that we see on the right, such as sunspots, which are very intense magnetic lines of force that burst through the sun's through the sun's surface, which then ends up creating solar flares, which are just sudden releases of high energy, billions of high energy protons. The other phenomenon is coronal mass ejections, with chunks of the sun being thrown into space and at Earth. Part of that is also kind of solar filaments, which are these kind of ropes of plasma that's held together by magnetic lines that they kind of like, they're almost like a whip, snap off of the sun's corona, which is the most outer kind of layer of the sun. And these are like hundreds of thousands of miles long, and when they can break off from the sun, and that's a coronal mass ejection coming towards our way. There's also coronal holes, which are kind of, when you look at a coronagraph, which is essentially a map of the is a picture of the sun, you'll see these really dark spots on the sun, and I mean they're hundreds of thousands of miles long, and this is where we get the solar winds. And right now we're being hit with quite a bit of solar winds, which we'll showcase in the recap for April. And this leads to, so the solar wind phenomenon, the solar flares, and the coronal mass ejections all lead into phenomenon that we call geomagnetic solar storms. But then there's also solar radiation storms. And so disturbances of the geomagnetic field or geomagnetic storms. And then these clouds of high energy protons that the sun can kind of burp up and send towards Earth is what solar radiation storms are. And they tend to be concentrated during at the poles. And so this is all the phenomena that we are occurring right now because of the time that we are in. And so for today, this plasma, this is what our sun looks like. And so we've got quite a bit of sunspots activity. And so this is all part of our universe sending information, our creator sending us information for the evolution of not only our planet, but for ourselves. And so according to the law of time, sunspots and its processes are carriers of information from different star systems. They affect the electromagnetic fields, creating a mental quickening or shifts in consciousness. Changes in the sun activity affect our biology and our consciousness. Let's see, and moving, let's see, I'm not seeing, are you all seeing the slides change? Let's see, we're at the next slide. Are you all able to see? Okay, we'll do that then. It seems, for whatever reason, so not yet. Let's see. Ashay, are you, let me, ask one question. So, are you able to advance to the next slide, Eshe? Yes. All right, would you mind, we see the sun. All right, so we see the sun. We're on to the next slide. So I wonder, okay, we're on to the next slide. Let's go to so solar flares tunes us to the consciousness of light that is expanding. I'm wondering if I should go ahead and just stop sharing, because it doesn't look like on my end I'm able to navigate the slides. And so, oh, interesting. Unfortunately, it seems that there is a little bit of a, warping of the slides that's occurring. So apologies for this, everyone. Let me see if I can stop sharing my screen again and then try to share again my screen. And so slides in PDF, let me try and share my screen a little bit again, see if that will work. Entire screen, maybe that's what's happening, is that I'm not showing the entire screen. Okay, share. Try this one more time. There we go. Okay, thank you. My apologies for the technical difficulties, but we're going to be, we'll roll with it. Perfect. All right. So we've got that. And so let's make sure, okay, we got the time. There we go. So this is what we want you all to see, because as Neptaharka was talking about the plasma, we are receiving solar plasma. Again, this is what this solar activity is sending to us over kind of the past 3 years, which we get to kind of revel in this energy for, through most likely 2026. But so we've got solar plasma that's being sent to us, which then connects with the 13 moon calendar, which is the radial plasmas. And so, of course, we already went over what the radial plasma for this today is, and that affects us on our human plasma. And so, as above, so below, and this is all ushering in evolutionary changes. And so, why is because we live in a holonomic universe. And so we are all holons. We are whole things, right, that participate in a greater part of a whole or a system of wholes. And so it's really quite profound to see how we are a microcosm of the macrocosm and et cetera. And so moving right along, we're going to go and jump into the monthly recap, because I do have I have a treat for you all in regards to a video, which is about 33 minutes long. And that's about the Kali Yuga, which we captured in our session for last month. But to speak a little bit about April, we had a lot of activity occur, and I thought it was kind of very interesting how it ended up coinciding with certain kin and then certain religious holidays as well too. And so, to begin, there was a mysterious solar radiation storm at the beginning of this month that was believed to be passed by a glancing blow from a CME, but they didn't capture the CME. It just kind of was a little bit of a mystery. We've had a lot of big sunspot activity, which you just saw in that last photo, or these sunspots, which is sending us all of this information that's occurring right now. At the very beginning of the planetary moon of manifestation, we ended up having G1 geomagnetic storm. And this was because of a co-rotating interaction region, which we covered last time a little bit. And so what CIRs are, they contain magnetic fields and shock waves like a coronal mass ejection, but it doesn't always require an explosion on the sun. There's so much sun phenomena that our scientists at NASA, NOAA, and around the world are still just beginning to learn. And especially now, since last year, towards the end of last year, they ended up launching satellites specifically designed, first of its kind, to study solar weather. We're learning more about, there's just more advancements in the science around heliophysics that's occurring. For the yellow crystal human, we ended up having a stream of solar wind hitting Earth, which ended up causing G1 and G2 storms. There's also a new comet that's in the sky that people are observing. Blue lunar on Kin 15, blue lunar eagle, we ended up having a G1 storm, and a phenomenon called Ellerman bombs was photographed occurring within giant sunspot AR 4048. The following day, there was more solar wind. And then what's so interesting is that on the galactic return of the year, because we're on Kin 19, the blue rhythmic storm, right? There was a full moon. It was also the day that Passover began, that there was a surge in flare activity on the sun, which with over 31 flares coming from another active sunspot. And so there was real kind of lull in activity. And then all of a sudden this day it just jumped up. And that ended up sending multiple coronal mass ejections, as we can see on Palm Sunday, the yellow resonant sun. And then it all struck on tax day. We ended up creating a G2 magnetic storm. And then on the blue planetary night, and I thought it was very interesting because if you look at this, there's a bit of a planet, because we started this month on the blue spectral monkey. So, and I noticed that there's quite a bit of solar activity on the blue kin, on the transformative kin. And so, for example, the cannibal coronal mass ejection, what a cannibal coronal mass ejection is when there's multiple coronal mass ejections that are sent and they kind of sandwich up to each other, which only increases their intensity when they hit Earth's magnetic field. And so that ended up happening. And then there was a mystery on Easter Sunday. They were calling the dancing tractors, because apparently our agricultural industry utilizes tractors that are connected with GPS. And all of a sudden they went awry on Easter, and they're still trying to figure out what happened because there was no coronal mass ejections or solar flares that have been captured on that day. But that just really speaks to our dependence upon the technology and the current infrastructure that supports the technology. We're going to have some concerns moving ahead, but I'll save that for another conversation. But I just thought that was really uncanny that all of a sudden the tractors that help produce our food, and we are already having issues with our agricultural system. I mean, I don't know if you all are aware about the bee. There's been a decline, mass bee deaths with commercial bees, and then of course all of the tariffs and the funding that's being lost and whatnot. So now to hear that our tractors themselves are having issues with GPS, and not functioning, that's definitely disconcerting. And then on the remaining days on Earth Day, we ended up having a bit of another solar couple of geomagnetic storms, and this was again caused by solar winds. And then on the blue overturned monkey, there was an interplanetary shock wave that happened, and this wave is an abrupt change in the solar wind, probably a CME that wasn't realized, but this ended up creating auroras in New Zealand and Colorado, but no global geomagnetic storm. Again, another mystery phenomenon. And it also produced fire tornadoes on the sun, which I have some pictures for you all to check out because it's pretty amazing to see. And then, of course, we are now on this plasma, which is very interesting because we have an opportunity today with the new moon in Taurus to really consider planting some seeds that are going to be supporting us in the remaining 3 months that we have for this calendar cycle. And so I would say that we've got plenty of empirical evidence to support the discussion around the Russell-McPherson effect, which is essentially during the equinoxes, there tends to be cracks in our electromagnetic field, which allows solar wind, as we saw, to come through, creating geomagnetic storms and the like. And so April tends to be kind of the third month of highest activity, with March really being the highest. And so we are absolutely still in the thick of solar cycle 25. And so I just wanted to again reiterate, because we've got 3 months left, right, to work with this energy that the blue rhythmic storm here is providing us. We still have 3 months left to, organize and balance, preparing ourselves, you all. So I know that this has been a pretty rough, start of the year and spring, and we're still in that spring energy, seeding intentions, right? And so I really want to encourage, as Baba T was talking about, the changes, the opportunities for change that we have available to us in this season, especially in ridding ourselves of things that do not serve. Because as we'll share in the video, with this end of the Kali Yuga, as we move forward, the things that do not support our health and our balance and our evolution are going to be, if we stay in those activities, it's going to be difficult for us. And so there really is a supportive energies towards growth and change right now. So I just want to encourage everyone with that. And part of the reason why this is the case is because this year, the blue rhythmic storm enters us into the 5th time dimension, which is really about creating the force field around planet Earth, and also creating, and this is what our planets are doing right now. This is what the solar system is doing right now, which we talked about this at in last month's discussion, and we won't get too into it, but we'll do a little bit of reminders about what that force field looks like. However, we also have an opportunity as this force field is being created to connect ourselves with the planet, which allows us to connect with consciousness, which we'll talk a little bit more at length in a moment. But to kind of close out this part of the presentation, this is Comet Swan 25F, and this was taken by a gentleman up in Austria. These are the Ellerman bombs. And so if you look you're going to see right here, there's like little white circles. There's a circle here. There's a circle here. There's a circle here, circle here, circle here, circle here. This is Sunspot AR 4048. And as you can see, it has two poles. It has two cores, I should say. And then you see the little picture of Earth just for size comparison. But here in these little white circles, what the Ellerman bombs is that an Ellerman bombs are magnetic explosions about 1/1,000th as powerful as a solar flare. A single Ellerman bomb, so a little single Ellerman bomb releases 10 to the 26th power ergs of energy. That's essentially equivalent to 100,000 World War II atomic bombs. And so these little Ellerman bombs are 1/1,000th of the size of a solar flare, which we know that X-class solar flares could power, if we could harness it, could power the United States for hundreds of thousands of years. And these little explosions are essentially the equivalent of 100,000 World War II atomic bombs. So it's wild. And it makes sense because like this type of phenomenon is what nuclear scientists are interested in learning about so they could sustain, fusion reactions here on Earth. And so it's really quite profound what's occurring right now. And this is on the blue planetary night. This was a brilliant, fascinating aurora rainbow bouquet is what they call it, when all of these beautiful colors are present. It's just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. We also had, this was the interplanetary shockwaves auras that happened in Colorado. And then on the right is New Zealand. And then this blew my mind, tie-dye auroras. This was up in Alaska just the other day. It's just absolutely just fantastic, fascinating. I've never seen anything like that and stuff. And so again, as we're here in this solar maximum, we get to see such beautiful phenomenon. And then this is a still shot of a video. This is a giant whirling sun tornado that's like on the sun, has been on the sun for these past couple of plasmas. And up here at the top top left corner, you'll see the size comparison of Earth and Moon. And yeah, this would gobble up this sun tornado, and it's just whirring, plasmas dropping from it and stuff. And so this is from a video, and all the links are in the presentation, which I'm happy to share with folks. This is what's occurring right now. So it's just really, again, amazing, the phenomena that's here. And so without much ado, we'll get into what are the planets communicating, right? We're going to recap that. What does it mean to have 4D consciousness? As I mentioned a little bit earlier, we're going to look at Maidic lands, and then we're here looking at the spectral moon of liberation, dissolve, release, liberation. Again, what are those things, the old mindsets, right? The old conditioning that's getting in the way of you being able to be receptive to the solar plasma that we're receiving right now, that is here to advance our evolution and our growth, but also our connection to the planet. And that connection to the planet is absolutely key, because 4D human consciousness is actually our participation in the greater Earth consciousness. It is not we who possess consciousness, but it's the planet that allows us to participate in this consciousness. And as she is up here, flexing what she needs to flex, because humanity is sick on the planet and she wants to evolve, it would behoove us not to be in sync with her so we can have access to greater consciousness, because the planetary consciousness is connected to our soul, the consciousness of the solar system, which is connected to the consciousness of our galaxy and the creator of all. And so the galaxy is the fundamental building block of the universe. Being galactic beings is the whole galaxy itself awakened as a super being. We are each cells that make up one galactic being, because we are here on planet Earth. And we participate in her consciousness. And so this is the force field that I made mention of, that, we covered this last month. This is the planet Holon. And so these are the circuits, the planets they create a force field around our planet. And again, all the planets are associated with the kin. So if you're new with us, and so please, or if you've been rocking with us, but you haven't had the opportunity to join the classes, this really is important for you to take this opportunity to learn more about your kin, because you help stabilize the frequency here on the planet. We need you all. We do not need carbon copies of other beings and lesser selves. We need you to be original, to recognize your holonomic nature, being a whole, and being that full representation, right? We've got, for example, our polar kin, right? They're the ones that sound the chromatics. Our cardinal kin, which is my Earth family, we help establish the genesis. The core family kin, they mine the tunnels, the signal family kin, they unravel the mystery. And then the gateway kin, such as the blue rhythmic storm, they open the portal. So the gateway kin are the kin that represent the years, the galactic years, right? So because they open the portals, they open up the year, they open us to new energies of consciousness and evolution. And so when consciously directed by human thought force, higher interplanetary frequencies can penetrate the chaotic frequency of happenings on Earth. This structure makes up the skeleton of the fourth dimensional body of the planet. By continuously activating this grid, slowly but surely, the higher 4D frequency will moderate and help lay a foundation for the emergence of a new order or state of being, which is the newest sphere. And the newest sphere is the sphere of human thought consciousness and mental activity in regards that influences the biosphere of the planet. And so as she's calling us to evolve, because we need to we need to be better stewards of planetary stewards. And so this year was the introduction of this kind of 5D time, which is all about really creating this force field, which is exciting. You know, this is new energies. Absolutely, there's a seeding of absolutely new energies right now that's occurring, and I'm excited for it. So here's May at a glance. We've got the blue cosmic storm, guided by abundance, that's the beginning of the spectral moon of liberation. And again, it's dissolve, release, and liberation. And the question is, how do I release and let go? We've got the yellow magnetic sun wave spell, guided by universal sun, that occurs on kin 40. Kin 42 will be the white electric wind, which is guided by death. It's also 5/5, which is a money. This is Tauruses, well, you know, and happy birthday to all my Tauros out there. And yes, happy birthday to the Aries and upcoming Geminis and stuff. But, you know, Tauro season is abundance season, right? But it's interesting that position of abundance, but then dissolve, you know, liberation and letting go. And so I'm reminded of the quote that, you know, an old wine set can't hold new wine. And so we have to consider that in regards to ourselves, in regards to what we're putting our focus on, right? This is really an opportunity to focus on the abundance, not just the financial abundance, but the abundance of community, the abundance of the resources, right? And I also say, if you're going to do any type of manifestation work, absolutely include something for the planet and something for the collective. Definitely focus on some good deeds, right? Because all of the positive energy on the planet ends up being received by divine source, and that multiplies. But the negative thinking, according to the knowledge book, because of our electromagnetic field, our negative thinking, it doesn't get through the magnetic field. It gets slammed, it gets sent right back to us. And again, when you kind of look at everything that's happening on the planet, we've got a lot of people thinking back, you know, thinking negative thoughts, experiencing negative things. And again, it's intensifying that energy on the planet. And so I will say that for those of you, and especially for those of us who follow the law of time cosmology, we're really in a unique position here, because as all of this cosmic energy is coming towards us, but then we are also having the cosmologies of control that are here on the planet, right? Who are trying to, you know, continue to suppress, you know, humanity's growth and evolution and whatnot. Following the law of time allows us to be out of that game that the cosmologies of control are creating. And so I really do encourage you all to take advantage of this month to release what doesn't serve, give thanks for what does, right? And seed intentions for new information, for your ability to process new information, for your community to be able to process these new sun codes, this new evolution that's coming to us, and to utilize it in a beneficial way, right? So definitely seed some good intentions for this month, and it's around abundance in all of its different manifestations. We have Kin 49. On Kin 48, we've got Yellow Solar Star, which is guided by flowering, which I thought was interesting. Mother's Day, big flower day. Kin 49, Red Planetary Moon. Kin 53 is Red Magnetic Skywalker Wave Spell, guided by space. Kin 63 on 5/26 is a new moon in Gemini. And then we close out the spectral moon of liberation with the White Magnetic World Bridger Wave Spell. And so I know that I know being a World Bridger, this is definitely a heavy month for me that I'm taking seriously. And so I hope that my fellow World Bridgers are as well too. And the fact that we're going to be getting the Yellow Magnetic Sun Wave Spell, which as High Priestess Ma'at speaks about in aligning with the cycles and in the chant calls, that the Yellow Magnetic Sun Wave Spell is not a cakewalk. And it's guided by universal fire, right? And as we jump into this video about surviving the Kali Yuga, which just ended on the equinox of 2025, this is going to come into play of just the season that we're in. So again, the more that we can just send good loving vibes to our planet and let her know that we're willing to evolve and upgrade our consciousness is going to be a good thing, y'all, for you in particular as we move in the days ahead. And so we'll just cover, there's a couple more slides here. So again, what are we being called to do here in this month? And so dissolve, release, liberation. Tone 11, spectral tone, represents a power of creative disillusion and dissonant structure. Again, what are those things that are keeping one from being able to take in new information, grow, right? Because this information is a lot. You got to unlearn what you've been taught. But the moment that you start connecting with it, it really is quite profound, the synchronicities that one can view. I've been having a lot of fun in being mindful of the cosmology and working with the cosmology. And I really encourage everyone to be creative. That's another thing. And especially this is an opportunity during this month to be creative. So the gift of your cosmic identity is to access the power of freedom. And what is creativity if it's not an aspect of being free, right? Activate, how you can activate your spectral powers is by willing to explore an entire spectrum of potentiality, by surrendering to the flow and the detours that are going to come up, right? By allowing structure to dissolve in order to be liberated into something new, to be shapeshift, right? To free yourself and others from limiting perceptions by letting go into the vastness of formlessness, and by freeing your soul, releasing into the majesty of your full wingspan, by submitting your personal will to the great mystery as it reveals itself in every moment. And so I really love that for us, that we have this time right now as we close out this galactic year, right, of the blue rhythmic storm. And that's showing us how to equalize and organize and get balanced, right, with these new energies that are coming in. And so we are going to jump into, and the lovely Ashe is going to help me out in just a moment. We're going to jump into this video. It is about a little over 30. I think we should end on about 1 today, because there are probably going to be some commercials, so just hold the frequency, and I apologize in advance for that. We're going to focus on one video. There is through the same content creator, a full interview with Bibu Dev Misra. This video that we're going to show is kind of he showcases Dan. He's an astrologist, and he ends up talking about what kind of has been happening in the last month, and juxtaposes it with clips of his discussion with Bibu Dev Misra. And so it's going to be really awesome and enlightening. This is Bibu Dev Misra is the one who looking at all the science, realized that the Kali Yuga ended on this past spring equinox. And he also found that the beginning of the Kali Yuga that we just ended actually began towards the beginning of the great cycle, the Mayan long count calendar. And so again, the synchronicities of the law of time and the Kali Yuga, this is what we're in, this is the energy that we're in. There's no kind of denying that piece. And so with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and stop presenting, because we're going to go ahead and jump right into the video. And so let me, stop. All right. Thank you again, Eshe.
Welcome to the Great Shift. On the spring equinox of March 2025, a team of researchers announced they had found evidence of massive structures below the pyramids of Giza, arguably the world's spiritual center. Is this proof that the ancients secreted their knowledge away in Egypt for millennia, awaiting the right moment to enlighten humanity once again? If it turns out to be correct, this discovery looks set to vindicate proponents of the idea that highly advanced ancient civilizations have risen and fallen long before modernity. It'll validate the idea that civilization and human consciousness itself rise and fall in endless cycles, as ancient peoples across the world believed. And it will vindicate the work of Bibhu Dev Misra, who argues that the Kali Yuga, the age of ignorance, materialism, and separation from the divine, ended on the spring equinox. What we may be looking at is a symbolically perfect event ushering in the end of the Dark Age. In this recent episode of World Astrology Report with Bibhu, we explored his work and explained how he came to the conclusion that the Kali Yuga would end in 2025. In this episode, we're going to explore the transition out of the Kali Yuga. Bibhu believes it will be characterized by rising consciousness and a long period of purification by fire. We're going to consider what that transition will look and feel like, and answer the question, should we be worried or excited about the times to come? I'm your host, Dan Waits. Welcome to another journey into the past to understand the present and the future.
It's hard for us to imagine a life with dirty water, so we're going to try this. Imagine for a moment that you're a 6-year-old
skip. We can skip through it now. It looks like
family you love, a few best friends,
and commercials.
If you're enjoying this video so far, please do the channel a favor and give it a like, and consider subscribing to catch future episodes. Thanks. You might also consider becoming a member of World Astrology Report, which will give you access to an extended members-only version of this video, in which we'll explore some of the astrology and recent events that seem to be speaking to the process of the new world coming into manifestation. You'll also get access to my members-only live streams, and you'll be able to join the next one, which will take place at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on April the 27th. In the coming stream, we're going to delve into a core technique in mundane astrology, the idea of hot degrees. Astrological events like eclipses and conjunctions energize particular parts of the zodiac, which can be activated later by transits. In particular, we're going to see why UFO disclosure began in December 2017, and why Uranus hitting the degree of 8 Gemini in the next couple of years is going to signify momentous world developments that have to do with the UFO phenomenon, spiritual science, zero-point energy, and artificial intelligence. As a member of World Astrology Report, you'll also get 20% off private consultations with me, and I still have a few slots available later this year, so get them while they're hot. Thanks for listening, and now back to the video. In the last episode of World Astrology Report with Bibhu Dev Misra, we dug into his research into the Yuga cycle, which he's detailed in his amazing book, Yuga Shift. We saw why evidence points to the idea that the Kali Yuga, the worst of the 4 ages of man, ended on the spring equinox of this year. The ancient Greeks believed that over the course of the great year, which we can link to the cycle of the precession of the equinoxes, the world undergoes 2 long periods of cleansing. Cataclysmos, the great winter, when the world is cleansed by water, and ekpyrosis, the great summer, when it's cleansed by fire. If Bibu is right, then we're at the start of the Great Summer now. And we're already seeing dramatic suggestions in world events that the period of transition and purification by fire is underway. First of all, 2025 began with literal fires in LA, one of a few places I'd say are highly symbolic of the current world order. LA is, of course, the home of Hollywood, which has, for better or worse, played a vital role in shaping global consciousness over the past century.
The moment Kali Yuga ends, we're in the ascending cycle. But the first 1200 years is a period that the Greeks used to call ekpyrosis, which means cleansing by fire. So what I anticipated was that there are going to be a lot of fire events once we cross the Kali Yuga threshold. And right at the beginning of 2025, you saw this huge devastating wildfire in LA. And that reminded me of ekpyrosis. I thought, wow, this is a clear signal that we are entering into a period of fire. And since then, the fires have been everywhere. You know, it's like all over the US, it's in Japan, it's in South Korea now, it's everywhere.
And there was something of a miracle during those fires that's very relevant to the end of the Kali Yuga. As we saw in the last episode, it was the Indian mystic Sri Yukteswar who taught the world that the Yuga cycle consists of both an ascending and descending phase, and that it's related to the cycle of precession. Sri Yukteswar's most famous disciple was Paramahansa Yogananda, who brought Kriya Yoga, a spiritual practice that can accelerate the processing of one's karma, to the United States. Yogananda established an ashram in LA.
There was a miracle in LA. What happened was when Paramahansa Yogananda, who was the disciple of Yukteswar, he had gone to America. He had founded the Lake Shrine in the Pacific Palisades area. And that was the area that suffered the greatest damage during the fire. And what happened during the fire is that the fire burnt all around that ashram, that shrine. It's a big ashram with a lot of buildings. And just one of the buildings got burnt and everything else was not touched at all. And everything around that area was completely burnt. So that kind of made me think, wow, this is again a message. This is like the fire telling us that only those things which support our divine unfoldment, which is aligned with our spirit, that is what is going to be carried forward. That is what is going to survive after we go through this period of purification or cleansing or whatever you want to call it.
There were also some interesting events that took place on the equinox itself. First of all, there was a power outage at London's Heathrow Airport that day, caused by a fire, of course. The outage led to the grounding of hundreds of flights and the stranding of countless thousands of passengers. You might not think this was a big deal, but London is another one of the places that seems most obviously symbolic of the age of materialism.
London is a symbol of imperialism. So it kind of tells you that we are going to a period that imperialism is not going to work anymore. We need to collaborate more. We need to be more empathetic and not be more controlling and suppressive.
At the time of the incident, Mercury was retrograde in the fire sign of Aries, because of course it was. But something else was happening at the time of the equinox, which seems highly significant. The emergence of incredible news about one of the places you could argue is the world's spiritual center, the pyramids of Giza.
Dreaming of a new kitchen? Stop waiting! Cabinets to Go's mega flash sale is going on now!
On March the 14th of this year, a team of researchers announced that they had used radar pulses to reveal the existence of massive and highly mysterious structures beneath the Khafre Pyramid in Giza, Egypt. The Khafre Pyramid is the second largest structure at Giza besides the Great Pyramid. Their visualizations of the data they uncovered revealed massive cylindrical structures surrounded by spirals extending 2 kilometers beneath the ground. These structures descended to two large cuboid structures.
That kind of changes everything. First of all, the technology. How do you get the technology? Second is the purpose and who did it. And there are all kinds of theories. Some people are talking about that power plant theory, which has been doing the rounds for a long time. I am not so keen on the power plant theory because it's the modern civilization which is so obsessed about power. When you read about the ancients and the ancient cultures, they were more into mysticism, more about initiations and healing and maybe getting some kind of mystical experience. That was their main preoccupation, and our main preoccupation is energy. So we tend to project the present back to the past.
Are we looking at the discovery of the legendary Hall of Records, which according to legend was built by the survivors of Atlantis to serve as a repository of their knowledge? which was only meant to be discovered at a moment humanity was ready, once again, for such knowledge. The end of the Kali Yuga would surely be such a time.
I would think that it could be some kind of a treasury, maybe. You go down the spiral staircase to a treasury, or maybe some kind of a library, which, Casey talks about the Atlantean Hall of Records. Of course, he spoke about the Sphinx in regards to that. But, there could be another Hall of Records down there.
As the sun entered the tropical zodiac sign of Aries on March the 21st, and it was conjoining mystical Neptune, this news was going viral on Twitter. And if it turns out to be true, it seems likely to vindicate theorists like Graham Hancock, who believe the pyramids and other megalithic structures were built by the descendants of a lost ancient civilization. But it also vindicates Bibu's work.
Like you said, it came out on 21st of March, which is the day the Kali Yuga ends. And one of my premise was that there's going to be more revelation of truth, because the energies that are now coming in, it's going to reveal a lot of things which have been hidden.
While the news from the Khafre Pyramid has created an immense amount of excitement in the alternative research field, some people have been quick to express skepticism about this discovery. It hasn't been peer-reviewed, they wail. Well, sorry friends, but I'm going to have to get on my soapbox again here. Those of us in the spiritual space are going to have to stop waiting for the approval of established power structures, including mainstream academia. The new world, a more spiritually attuned world, is going to have to be built in parallel to the current one. We can't expect that suddenly the very institutions whose job it's been to generate and disseminate materialist narratives about reality and history are suddenly going to admit that they've been entirely wrong about things like cyclical history, psi abilities, UFOs, and spirituality, and integrate them into their curricula. They're not going to change. They're going to resist the changing of the spiritual and intellectual guard. And their job in the coming years will be to try to prevent you from believing your own eyes and the testimony of your heart and soul as we watch the world embrace a new paradigm of reality. So mainstream Egyptology is almost certainly going to ignore and ridicule these developments for the same reason that extensive excavation in Egypt and places like Göbekli Tepe is also being held back. And that's exactly what you'd expect from those who consciously or unconsciously are here to sustain the world of ignorance that the Kali Yuga demands.
And a lot of people who might have found some information but are kind of hesitant to release it because it might affect their career or their families in a negative way, they'll find that courage, that internal courage and the conviction to know that the truth is more important than their material life or anything else. And an important part of the truthing movement is not only to understand the deceptions that are there right now in the world, but also our origins, where we came from, who our ancestors were, what they did, what are the kind of messages that they have left behind for us, because all of that is going to be important for us going forward.
The hegemony of the current power structures depends on us all accepting the idea that there's no other viable mode of development than the one we're currently taking. They want us to think that there's no alternative to our ever-deepening merger with machines and with transhumanist corporate technocracy. The revolution is not going to happen in the pages of peer-reviewed journals. It's going to be led by mavericks and renegades and weirdos who aren't welcome in those circles. And I, for one, can't wait for it.
If we are made to believe that we are at the pinnacle of civilization, it means that everything that we are doing is right. It is for our betterment, and we are progressing. So we need not really protest against the desecration of the earth, against the wars and the violence, because all of that is in our best interest. But if we go back to the past and we see that there were higher civilizations there, but they had an entirely different set of ideologies, and they could actually make things that we can't build now. They could build them for purposes which we can't access now, then that entirely changes the game, because they are pushing the Darwinian paradigm on us, that we have evolved in a linear manner from primitive people to our smartphone civilization. But discovery of highly advanced civilization in the past topples that whole theory. And as I've already mentioned, the anthropological data shows that we have been declining in terms of cranial capacity, in terms of physical stature, in terms of lifespan. All of that has been going down. And also in terms of our innate virtues. That's very clear to see that we are far less virtuous now than even people who lived a couple of hundred years ago, let alone people in the ancient times.
And more broadly, if any kind of transition out of an age of ignorance and materialism is coming, it's going to be kindled in the heart and soul of each and every one of us. It'll well up from the bottom upwards, not the top down. It's going to depend on us all becoming more conscious and attuned to divinity.
I'm sure you know by now that there are literally
21st March, I felt a distinct lightening. It's almost as if a layer of darkness was peeled off, and I kind of felt lighter and more positive, more powerful energies coming in. And I thought it was just me, maybe. Then I spoke to a lot of my friends and people on social media, and a lot of them confirmed that they felt some kind of a lightening, some kind of a positive energy. They're feeling that during their meditation. Some people are having kind of an emotional release. They're kind of releasing some kind of suppressed emotion held up within them, and they're experiencing this in course of their meditations or any kind of spiritual actions that they're doing. So that was really amazing for me, that there has been an incursion of positive energy. And the reason why this is so amazing is because the change will come only from the inside out and not from the outside in. Because anything that is imposed on us is not going to last very long. It's only when it comes from within is it going to spread out and then turn into something, something beautiful, something long-lasting, that's something that serves us. Because a lot of people are looking for something big in the external environment because the Kali Yuga is ending. And right now I'm getting the feeling that's not how it's going to happen. It's going to start from the inside out.
In the bonus section of the last video with Bibu, available to members of World Astrology Report, we looked at how the Yuga cycle actually works. In short, it has to do with the black hole at the center of our galaxy, which enters periods of more or less activity over the course of its own cycles. The black hole has recently been seen to have entered a more active phase.
The central black hole has already switched on. And one of my theses was that it is a central black hole, which Hindus call Brahma, the creative principle, and Christians would call it the Christ consciousness. Buddhists would refer to it as the Buddha field. So it's the central source of energy and enlightenment in our galaxy, which regulates everything within us. That has turned on over the last 1 year. What they have found is that the central black hole has been giving out very bright flares of light on a daily basis. And this never happened before. Our black hole was very quiet. It was giving off occasional X-ray flares, and that's all. And what I said in my book is that is the activation of the black hole, which is going to push us into the ascending Yuga cycle. And that has already happened in 2024 because they have been observing this over the last 1 year. And now that I look back, it seems to explain a lot of things that were happening in 2024. A lot of people feeling that some kind of a shift is happening. A lot of psychics and intuitives, they got that feeling that something is happening, although people were not exactly able to put it into words that what is exactly going on, but that feeling was there. And I think it was that energy that has already started coming into our planet, which was triggering these kind of reactions, these kind of emotional reactions, a lot of intuitive thinking. I think the black hole is triggering our intuitive brain to figure out what is actually going on in the world, to look through the deceptions, to find our way forward, to have the courage to get rid of our doubts and our fears. So all of that is being triggered by this new energy that is coming into our planet. And that is what I'm most excited about right now.
So there's so much reason to be hopeful that better times really are coming to the world, whether you agree with Bibu's perspective or that of Sri Yukteswar, who said the Dwapara Yuga began in the year 1700. With that understood, it's time we address some of the scarier aspects of the transition out of the Kali Yuga. Because when we're talking about fundamental shifts like this one, you have to understand that we can't build a better world without deconstructing the old one first. Bibu believes that the Golden Age, or Satya Yuga, was followed by a 1200-year period of cleansing that the ancient Greeks called Cataclysmos, the Great Winter, when the world was purified by water. This coincides with the Younger Dryas climate anomaly, an anomalous cool period from roughly 12,900 years before the present to 11,700 years before present. A controversial but increasingly popular theory says that the Younger Dryas was caused by comet impacts, that caused a massive amount of glacial ice to melt in a very short period of time, resulting in devastating flooding.
What scientists have found out is that at the Younger Dryas boundary, a large comet had struck us, and it basically triggered the Younger Dryas cooling. But they also found that there's a layer of black, which they call the black mat, which overlies the remains of the Ice Age megafauna. And this black mat spans 1200 years. And the black mat is filled with iridium and carbon spherules, which indicates that comet impacts took place throughout this period.
An Indian text composed during the 11th or 12th centuries, the Adbhuta Sagara, describes a sequence of 26 comets that struck the Earth during what it calls, quote, the era of the flood, over a period of roughly 1,235 years. That's roughly the same length as the Younger Dryas period as described by mainstream science. Surely, no coincidence.
Our period of 1200 years exactly matches the Younger Dryas period, and Sampla Vesu, or the era of the flood, is the same term that the Greeks used for cataclysmus, because cataclysmus also means deluge. So that tells us that this sequence of 26 comets must have struck us during the Younger Dryas period.
Bibu believes that the 1200-year period of cleansing by fire may involve more comet impacts. But according to the Adbhuta Sagara, some of the comets actually had beneficial effects. And that could be true this time round too, especially given that we're in a period of ascension.
Each of these comets in that list, they brought some beneficial reactions or some negative outcomes. So not all of them were bad or not all of them were good. See, a comet is extremely powerful energetically. It has this huge coma around the nucleus. It has these long tails. And whenever we are in contact with any kind of light, any kind of very powerful light, that light has the power to trigger genetic mutations within our body and also impact our mind and our consciousness. Comets also have been known to bring water. Comets can also act as mechanisms by which life is transferred across the galaxy. So comets can bring in new DNA and RNA molecules and seed our planet with new forms of life, new forms of plants and herbs that can help us in healing, in diseases, new minerals that can help us in all kinds of ways. So comets do have a very beneficial effect on our planet, and that has been talked about. I mean, scientists like Sir Fred Hall and Chandra Wickramasinghe, they have been talking for a long time about comets seeding life on Earth and comets bringing a lot of beneficial minerals to the Earth. Now, since we are going into ecpyresis, there's a good chance that that particular swarm of comets might come back again and help in the purification and renewal of our planet. But I don't think that's something to be really concerned about, because if you think of 26 comets over a 1200-year period, that basically means one comet every 50 or 75 years. That's not so bad. And I think because of the enlightened consciousness of the period of ecpyresis, I think people will know beforehand where they ought to move or where they ought to live in order to avoid the harmful effect of those comets. So I'm not particularly concerned about those comets coming in again. What I'm more concerned about is the next 15 odd years, because that's when we might go through a lot of turbulence.
What is the point of hiring a nutritionist if you actually can't afford groceries?
If the Kali Yuga is ending, then the power structures that currently hold sway are going to have to dissolve so that they can be replaced by new ones that reflect a more spiritually informed reality.
The end of the Kali Yuga is also a time of transformation, a transformation from the old ways of doing things to new ways of doing things. It means that there's going to be a kind of breakdown of the power structures which held sway over the Kali Yuga for a long period of time. To some extent, that has already started happening in the US. You see a lot of fight back against some of the deeply entrenched power positions. Of course, I mean, there are two sides to every story. The thing is that the transformation process has started at a geopolitical level, at an administrative level, at social level. That period of transition, the transformation has already begun. And I think it's going to be reflected in other countries as well. Every country will go through a period of reflection of maybe social unrest, maybe revolutions, and maybe power structures crumbling, a lot of disclosures, internal conflicts, wars, All of these are likely to happen as we go into this period of transition, because what's happening at an energetic level is that we are getting these new energies, these new vibrations coming in from the central black hole. That's the regulating factor. And these energies are very different from the energies that we have been used to so far. These are the energies of unity consciousness. These are the energies that are based on the higher virtues, the virtues of love and truth, of wisdom, of patience, of harmony and balance. And anything that is not in resonance with these energies are not going to survive. They'll crumble and fall away. And that's going to happen due to a variety of factors. You might get elected officials doing that. You might have civilians doing that. You might have wars. You might have natural catastrophes like fires and floods or earthquakes.
The thing that will make this transition difficult is that power doesn't tend to relinquish its hold without a fight. And there are signs that the world's most powerful people may somehow be aware of the perilous nature of the transition that we're looking at. They are, after all, building bunkers.
The current crop of billionaires or politicians go into the higher cycle. That's not going to be a higher cycle anymore. So that's going to be a descending cycle once again. So that's not going to happen. So all of these bunkers, I mean, they might work for a couple of years, but they won't work for the whole period of transition. And it's not as if the laws of karma will stop working inside a bunker. Even Elon Musk can't design a bunker that is karma resistant. In fact, I get a lot of questions from people who ask me that which is the best place to, best place to live in. Should I go to here or there? I don't have the answers to that myself. I don't know where I should be going, because I think that is something that people will figure out by themselves. I think those people who are being guided by a higher consciousness, guided by the higher beings, they will figure it out intuitively.
Another indicator that the powers that be know that change is coming are the digital systems that are being put in place across the world right now. In the coming of AI, central bank digital currencies, and digital ID, we're seeing the emergence of all the tools needed to create a totalitarian control system that the great dictators of history could only dream of. And again, it makes sense that this is happening at this particular time in history, right as the Kali Yuga is ending.
The people who are in power will try to make sure by any means that their power is not disrupted. So these kind of technologies are obviously going to help them to try and retain that power. There are a lot of actors right now who are probably brought in by their karma from previous lives, and they're probably here to make it as difficult as possible for the people to go into the next stage. I mean, this kind of showdown between, let's say, good and evil tends to happen at the end of a yuga.
It's interesting to consider how conscious the powerful people driving these developments actually are of the role that they're performing. Are they consciously trying to retain control during a great transition of the ages? Or are they just unconsciously performing the role that karma has allotted to them?
They are driven by their own impulses. They've been kind of sent here, and they're kind of programmed to do what they're doing without even knowing the bigger picture. So they can't really help it. Then that's what they have to do. And that opposing force also has a value, because unless you have that opposing force, people normally don't come out of their shells, and they don't really try to be what they can become. It's kind of like a hero's journey for a large percentage of the population.
As I've said before on this channel, rather than feeling victimized by such developments, we need to think of these systems and those who are bringing them into the world as really just providing us with strength training for the soul. What's also interesting is that we're actually hearing the use of the term golden age a lot these days, including from people in and around the Trump administration and from the tech industry. But as Sri Yukteswar taught, we don't jump straight from the Kali Yuga back to the golden age. That's not how astronomical cycles work, and it's not how the Yuga cycle itself likely works, according to Bibu's research. Instead, just as the day changes and as the seasons of the year gradually shift, it's likely that the cycle ascends and descends. We're now transitioning into the Dwapara Yuga, or the Bronze Age, which will then be followed by the Treta Yuga, or Silver Age, and then and only then will we reach the next Satya Yuga, or Golden Age. But if you look at the direction of the world and the kinds of things that the powers that be are pushing, it seems to me that they may be attempting to somehow game the cosmic system. Here's what the Mahabharata says of the Golden Age. Men neither bought nor sold. There were no poor and no rich. There was no need to labor, because all that men required was obtained by the power of will. The chief virtue was the abandonment of all worldly desires. The Krita Yoga was without disease. There was no lessening with the years, There was no hatred or vanity or evil thought whatsoever, no sorrow, no fear. All mankind could attain to supreme blessedness. If you listen to the future described by some tech evangelists, transhumanists like Elon Musk and Ray Kurzweil, for example, well, it sounds quite a bit like that. But the world these guys are describing will be a crude, materialist facsimile of the golden age. It'll be one dependent on technology, controlled by a small number of extremely powerful people. And it'll involve substituting for our natural abilities, not nourishing them.
And then there's some people who say that this technology is going to take us to a golden age by making sure that, you know, there are no diseases or there's no poverty and stuff like that. But, you know, can we design a technology that is going to clean our minds of all the negativity, of all the egoic selfishness, of the greed and the hatred? As long as we don't have a technology that can clean our minds, that can clean our consciousness, that can get us in touch with our inner spirit, then that technology can't really take us to a golden age. So the golden age can't be reached by means of technology. It was never a lack of technology that pushed us into the descending cycle, and it's not going to be technology that is going to take us to an ascending cycle. But for a short period of time, they might use this technology to create a sort of surveillance state to try and bring as many people under their control as possible, to make it as difficult as possible. And they could succeed to some extent.
The glories of the golden age will come from union with the divine, from greater dharma, from greater consciousness, not from electrical technology. But back to the transition. There's something else that's happening now that really does look like a harbinger of a more enlightened age: the emergence in public consciousness of the UFO phenomenon.
Hi, I'm Andy Levian.
There are conflicting ideas out there about what the UFO phenomenon might actually represent. Is it manifestations of beings from other planets, or other dimensions, or spiritual realms, or even humans from the future? Or does it represent the vestiges of ancient advanced civilizations, or a combination of the above? Well, if you read ancient Hindu texts like the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, there are descriptions of flying palaces and chariots called vimanas, which sound a lot like UFOs.
When you look at the ancient texts or the ancient civilizations, they always say that the knowledge was given to us. It was given to us by sages or the gods who visited us in the ancient times, and that's how we got all our knowledge, whether it's maths or astronomy. So they never took credit for it themselves, which they should have, because you like to take credit for the work that you have done, but they didn't. So that brings up the question as to who these gods and sages were, and there we go off into the alien phenomena. So these interdimensional beings could come back again and interact with humanity and repromulgate the ancient wisdom, give us new skills and ideologies and scientific techniques. The skills of civilization might be given to us once again, so that we can establish the foundation and the framework for the ascending cycle. Because I think that the period of ekpyrosis is actually a part of the ascending cycle, because throughout the period of ekpyrosis, there is going to be an increase in consciousness, increase in dharma, a realignment with virtue.
When we're thinking about the end of the Kali Yuga and the transition out of the Dark Age, it seems significant that some kind of process of disclosure of the reality of the UFO phenomenon seems to be underway. There's a lot of understandable skepticism about this process, given that it's being led by counterintelligence professionals. You can't expect to get the whole truth about a phenomenon with such profound spiritual implications from such people. They're inevitably going to push a view of the phenomenon that aligns with the interests of the military and intelligence services. But the fact that it's happening at all is undeniably interesting. Why, after decades of secrecy and ridicule of anyone who talked about UFOs, the authorities now talking about them themselves? Something has to have changed behind the scenes to have led to this different approach. Could it be that they have some awareness of the changing of the times and they're trying to get ahead of events? Do they know something's coming? Or could it be that they're attempting to fulfill karmic requirements to facilitate this transition, but they want to retain power and control as they do so? Or are they just playing their role in this grand human drama unconsciously?
To get out of the Kali Yuga, we need to get out of the mindset that humans are the only living beings on this planet or the solar system or the universe. We are part of a cosmic family, and we are going to get united with our cosmic family. And when that happens, then a lot of this arrogance, the selfishness, the hubris, I think that is going to automatically dissipate. So this is a very critical part of the awakening process, the realization that we are part of a larger whole, that we are part of a larger cosmic family, and that we have specific duties and purposes for our incarnation. We can't just come here to have fun. I mean, having fun is a part of our life, but there are other duties and purposes that we need to fulfill, and that everything that we do here on our planet also has an impact elsewhere in the cosmos. So with that responsibility and with that understanding, I think we'll automatically be elevated to a higher state of consciousness.
When we consider ideas like the Yuga cycle and the astrological ages, like the move from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius, we're talking about changes that occur at a very deep but all-permeating level. The energies that drive these changes emanate from the divine realm, the stars. But it's still the job of the planets to bring these changes into manifestation. Consider this. This year and 2026 will see a conjunction of Saturn and Neptune in the first degree of Aries, the first degree of the entire zodiac. That's a remarkably rare configuration, one that seems to speak to a new beginning that will likely involve a new infusion of the spiritual into the material world. We haven't seen a conjunction of these planets in this crucial degree in thousands and thousands of years. So this conjunction seems to be ringing in the transition out of the Kali Yuga. And remember, Aries is a fire sign, and according to Bibu, we're entering a period of purification by fire. And there's another key date to pay attention to in this story, and that's 2040, when we'll see a quintuple conjunction of Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn in the sign of Libra. The Chaldean astrologers believed that such conjunctions ushered in great purifications of the world. In the bonus section of this video, available at worldastrologyreport.com, we're going to look more at the coming transition and some of the astrological configurations that are signifying it. That's it for this video. Thanks so much to Bibu for joining me. Do consider buying his book, Yuga Shift. It will really help you to understand this material and what's at stake. It's linked below. Thanks, and see you again soon.
Thank you all for your patience. We're going to wrap up, but that video said quite a bit. And I mean, especially reiterating Neptarka's already, instructions to us, right? We heard about Christ consciousness. We heard about going within. We heard about deconstructing, right? Things that do not serve us, and the systems that do no longer serve us are just deconstructing. Bibu talked about essentially, let me scroll up because I wrote it in the chat. Essentially, he said, only those things that support our divine unfoldment will survive at this time. So once again, everyone is really encouraged to, set some really great intentions at this time, right? About dissolving those things that don't serve you and really being able to integrate and digest the information, even though it may be outside your ballpark, it might be new, right? But remain open. I mean, everything that Bibu talked about in talking about the disclosure process, we had that at the beginning of the year. Dr. Stephen Greer is one of those voices who's supporting the whistleblowers coming out from the military industrial complex who are talking about Raytheon and Northrop Grumman and all of these military industrial contractors who have been reverse engineering the crashed UFA, unidentified aerial UAPs, right? They've been doing this since the 1950s. We have anti-gravity technologies. Bump this electric car. Actually, I think it's 2028 that the first flying car is supposed to be coming out. They already have prototypes of it. We're talking about hydrogen cars and stuff. We have another thing that Dr. Stephen Greer talks about. We have access to zero-point energy. We don't even need to be on the grid anymore. We have technology that is available to us that could solve our energy needs and our food scarcity needs and our water needs within 10 years, and absolutely in less than 20. So this is the opportunity that we have available to us. News Nation in January ended up showcasing Jake Barber's testimony about he was a military, does a lot of stuff in the military, but he was a helicopter helicopter pilot and ended up having really profound experience picking up an egg-shaped aircraft, and came out and talks about that. And it changed him profoundly because his experience with the being in the aircraft and stuff was completely protective and warm, and he still feels that protection to this day. I really encourage everyone to check it out. But this is a lot. I encourage everyone to check out the interview on World Astrology Report that Kali goes over. That is the one with the full interview of Bibu Dev Misra, who's just fascinating and amazing. We will talk a little bit about the Saturn and Neptune conjunction. We'll talk about that's coming up in July. And so we do need to watch out for, because according to that conjunction, losses or separations through deception or fraud. Look at what's happening in the administration, habit, sickness, pestilence, disease. That's another thing. Look at what's happening with this current administration. So we will need to be on the lookout for those type of things, but we'll talk about that at a later date. But I really appreciate each and every one of you for hanging out with me towards this end of towards the latter part of this presentation. We're not going to hold you any longer. Thank you so much for your attention. If you want access to this PowerPoint, feel free to reach out to me. I will post my at Alcione at synchronistichuman.com. It's my pleasure to share this information with you as we all just travel on these waves of evolution. And I thank you once again for your attention and focus, and have a wonderful rest of your plasma. Peace, everyone.